Let's get it. Come on, watch that.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Geeked Out Podcast. We just wanted to throw out another general spoiler warning for any other shows, movies, games, or comics that we get into where we go into the in-depth on. So if you've seen anything that you watching, playing, reading, listening to, please keep an ear out. And spoiler warning.
It was just so nasty. But then you get your 5, and you start playing games, and it's just instant. And you don't even notice. Like, I'm just used to it now, bro.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Turn on a game and instant load.
I've been thinking about this. Like, I still think about it sometimes when I just turn on my TV and like the PlayStation I've been on, and it just cuts on and everything. It's like I don't even got to do anything, or the vice versa.
Yeah, and you hear it.
Button, TV comes on,
and the TV turns on.
And
then the kids nowadays be like, "Oh man, we've been having this shit forever," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm growing up, man." Okay, and as I grow up, all this new technology just makes me happy.
You don't understand, like the way this used to work is I had to have left my shit on all night on the same save station, on the same pause menu that I was on when I wanted to quit.
Yep.
And then, turn the TV on manually and get it back in. And then get back in. Now I could be on YouTube and shit still, come back in. Bloop, bloop.
Boom. Right there. Right back in the same part of the same map I was on.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Pause menu and everything just ready. I didn't even have to switch.
It's ridiculous. I don't even have to click the pause button. All I gotta do is just hold down the PlayStation button.
That I could just about fucking remote play. I thought remote play. But last time I saw remote play, I think it was like right when maybe when the PS5 had just came out, whatever. But like it was still just like a controller for your phone or whatever. But now you can do remote play on your computer, and literally I just see my PlayStation home screen on my PC, like a whole window just opens up for it. And like I can plug in the PlayStation controller to my computer if I wanted to, and just stream from there. And it's like clean playing. Like I don't know if it's because the PlayStation is literally right next to the computer, but like when I say this shit is like immediate like response so far, I don't know. I have to see it in like an actual gameplay to see how it looks.
Oh yeah, it's speedy as fuck. Like I was on my phone playing the damn thing because I have a decently sized screen on my phone. I go downstairs, I'm cooking. Playing like Marvel's Midnight Suns on my phone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's a whole little video. It's like a PSX, those old emulators. It's like one of those, but right on my phone.
Yep, literally. So yeah, I can understand why Xbox is just like, yeah, we're not competing on this new gen gaming console.
I mean, shit, they got that too. They got that too. And here's a crazy thing. Have you seen
what games they got that you want to walk away and still be playing? Tell me.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Right now, it's actually just the fact that like I want a Steam Deck just so I can play the games that are available to me on Game Pass. Like, they have some games on Game Pass that I would love to play.
Game Pass is dope as fuck. I have it, but I don't have an Xbox for it. I have my.
I'm about to say I wouldn't even get an Xbox. I just want Game Pass.
That's it.
I want what Microsoft is doing. Fuck their Xbox. I want to jump into Microsoft. Fuck Xbox.
My Xbox is on some other shit. I mean, yeah, Microsoft is on some other shit with that Game Pass. Like I said, the fact that Stellaris, and it's crazy too, because like they have, I keep saying this, but they have day one releases dropping day one on the Game Pass shit. So like you can literally pre-install and everything on Game Pass for these day one installs. I'm just like, how? This doesn't, it just makes no sense to me mathematically of how this can be a good thing for the studios at least. Like I don't know if like Microsoft is just like overpaying or what, like for like their like separate copies or whatever of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this for this, because I don't know how long they're gonna be on Game Pass, because Game Pass also does work like that where like stuff leaves, but it's not like it'd be like 30 games leaving at once and something like that. Like they are pretty like it's pretty lenient on like how long this stuff stays before like it finally goes. And most of the times the stuff comes back just in like an enhanced edition or whatever. So like I feel like it's on the wave of like the whole movie pass thing where like look I'm gonna get my mind while it's here, but I don't see this going well for much longer because it looks like they already have like started drawing back on certain things. So like for instance, you could do the for your first month, no, for your first 3 months were $1. So you paid
like
$1,
yeah.
you got 3 months of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Yep.
Like and then even with that, I think they just got rid of. They literally just got rid of. Like I think after that they got rid of it and it was doing 1 month for $1 or whatever. And then now they just finally got rid of that option entirely to do like the 1 month or whatever.
I mean, they have to because now their games are coming out. Like,
Yeah, no,
they
it's
pretty
crazy.
much have to now.
Yeah, like,
before it's just like, yo, get in the door, please, get in the door. Now it's just like, all right, now pay money if you want to open up that door, nigga.
I got in that door. I was like, you know what? And then like, it's not to say like I've had it the whole time. Like I don't think I have Game Pass directly at this moment, because I just have no need for it. Like I played the games that I wanted to on there. They did have a good little list there for a little while. I was just like, okay. But yeah, no, once these other games start dropping again, definitely go get my little few months, see how long it takes me to beat those games or whatever. Then I'm gonna be back.
Yeah, and like for real, you know how much money I spent on Stellaris DLCs, bro? And you trying to tell me some dude on Xbox can just pay a monthly fee and just have access?
Oh.
Just have access, bro?
Yep.
I've just spent like 3 video games worth of money on these DLCs, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Stellaris, man. I'm real happy about it. Let me check right now because I'm pretty sure my hours is up to at least 500. Let me see. 483 hours, bro. 483. Damn near $200, bro. That's crazy.
That sounds like Persona.
Damn, y'all just spend $20 and I just get to play that real quick.
It sounds like my Persona.
Yo, you remember that Persona mobile game?
Oh yeah, which one?
The Devil Summoner one?
Oh, Devil Summoner, yeah. Devil Summoner was cool. For a while. But then it just got like, it's just like one of those games that's like kind of the same thing after a while. So it's just like, all right, I've done this for 500 levels now. I think I'm okay. I don't think there's an end to this. So I think I'm good.
No, it was just about the collective Persona, man. That was it.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, y'all gotta make this stuff like Destiny. At least give me a story.
Yeah, give me something.
Where'd
like,
the story go?
Yeah, it's like one of those older games where like you kind of go through each level and it's just like a different versus like elemental wise. So it's just like, okay, after like the third level of you fighting the same enemy with a different color palette, you're like, oh, okay.
Yep, the Destiny approach, like the Nightfall buffs and stuff is like, oh, they do void splash. Yeah, watch out for that void splash.
And the Nightfall shit, because some of that should be so like, oh my god, what is it? The ascended levels of those fucking do are so.
Watch out for the elemental burn. Every hobgoblin's gonna one tap you with this elemental burn.
Like it doesn't matter that you're 300 light levels above what this recommended light level is. They're still just gonna one tap you, and you're gonna have to start this over from the beginning. Oh, and if any of you go down more than once, hey, guess what? You're starting over again. Your points
is done. You might as well redo it, big buddy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those. The master difficulty Nightfalls were ridiculous, but that's what they wanted them to be, and that's another reason why I stopped playing. I really wanted the game to be a little bit more versatile with the builds and stuff that I could do.
Well,
like if I wanted to run through a Nightfall by just doing grenades, I should be able to. If I just want to punch stuff, I should be able to do that.
It's funny.
Like for a while, those builds are in the metas, and then they go away, where they're just not useful anymore.
Exactly. And so that's actually one of our topics for the day, so we can actually just hop right into it. Is not necessarily Destiny 2, but it's the state of gaming right now, especially when it comes to, microtransactions and, and pay quality and whatnot, and then especially when it comes to the price of gaming currently and like the quality of the games that we're getting now, at least on drop. Especially with your big release of Baldur's Gate 3 has seemed to have sparked a lot of, not necessarily outrage, but has, especially from gaming companies, at least some outrage where they feel like expectations are now going to be increased from consumers because they feel that Baldur's Gate is setting too high of an expectation, which I think is like, for one, it's just ridiculous. I saw there was this IGN video essentially talking about the comments, saying how pretty much like why wouldn't consumers want to expect more out of gaming? Like, that's the whole point of, like, of these big British studios, and what they're doing, whatnot, is that, things are supposed to get better as it goes or whatnot. And to say, like, to see a game that, is doing good and we're getting good reception because of how well it dropped and how good it is of a game it is already, now not for what it could be or what you promised it would be or whatever, and to say that, like, oh, well, now people are just going to expect too much from us, is just crazy. Because, like, why would you not want to expect more from yourselves? If anything, it's like, okay, no, we're gonna show you what to, we're gonna show you what for. Like, now we got to up each other. Like, that's the whole point of, like, having, like, a healthy healthy competition, in business and gaming or whatnot. I mean, that's what I originally loved about the original console wars when it came to, like, the original PlayStation and Xbox and everything. Whereas, like, it was like the Halos versus the what was PlayStation's equivalent?
PlayStation had Unreal Tournament, I believe, and Killzone.
Killzone, yep, there it is, Killzone. I mean, and then just the more anime heavy titles and everything versus, like, the more realistic shooters like Call of Duty and whatnot that you got more on Xbox.
Shoot, man, now that was real console wars, Xbox and PlayStation back then.
Exactly.
Oh, if we could play each other, I'm way better than you.
Exactly. It was always
that. Scrubby PlayStation, the real players on Xbox.
But now, like, you get those, and, like, it's not even about that. It's about, like, more. So, I don't know. Like I said, the console wars have kind of divulged into a whole thing, but the state of games themselves, and now we're getting so many games that are dropping where day one drops for, like, $70 games are, like, ass. And it's like, it's not even, like, due to, like, necessarily the game itself being ass, but, like, just the actual port of the game for itself is bad. I mean, whether it's for older gen consoles, PC, or the like it's, like, all around just, like, have been crazy drops where just, like, stuff just does not drop well. I mean, you have the cyberpunk fiasco where, like, literally all these promises that they made, it took them over a year almost to even catch it back up with, all the fixes for that, and that was still barely, like, anything. So you got, like, all these companies that are feeling, like, pressure for their own mistakes, because, like, at the same time, like, people are talking about in their outrage, I guess, for the Baldur's Gate stuff, they talk about how, Baldur's Gate had, like, such a wide time frame, but, like, they've said, like, you have all these other AAA studios that have had, like, this, that have been around just as long, that are just as big, with just the same amount of, not same amount, but, like, just around the same amount of employees that could have been working on these things, but, like, they did it well. So I can't be upset at these people because, they're getting good reception for, putting their passion into the game, and then saying that, oh, well, now that's just expecting too much from us. Okay, making games is hard. It's like, yeah, we never questioned that or whatnot. I mean, and at the same time, we never gave y'all these time frames or whatever. Like, this is between, like, I guess you want to say, the game developers and their, studios who are pushing them to, like, put out these games more frequently. But, like, at the same time, just looking at the studios, it seems like they are leaning more towards this, like, microtransaction heavy basis where, like, every game has, like, cosmetics or, loot boxes that you have to buy, and you don't have to, but, it's always, like, a big part of the game now, versus, like, it even dropping in a substantial way. I mean, that was my main reason for getting out of Destiny, was that, like, damn, it takes fucking $30-$50 just to be able to play the next season of the game, just to play like the base version of that, and then you need to buy the season pass just to get into certain aspects of that, or to get certain rewards from certain things in that section or whatever. But then they're also out here complaining about being able to make armor sets for each season, but they also are freely putting in armor sets into their currency bought armor sections every season. So like you can still buy new gear and armor from them if you want to spend money on it, but anything that's actually implemented into the game for the general user base is like looked at as an afterthought, because that's not going to make us money.
And to be honest, it's even when it comes down to like the criticism I'm hearing, I feel like we really need to boil it down to like one specific thing: publishers and their demands. It's when you have, like, for instance, Larian Studios like 400 people, Bungie Studios like 1,000. One of Blizzard Studios, Blizzard in general as an entire studio with all their different studios in different places, as one whole conglomerate, is probably like 6,000 to 7,000 people. The bigger the studio, the more money they need in order to sustain the continuation of video game development. So for bigger studios, I understand having one game is a money crunch, but when it comes down to stuff like Baldur's Gate, they're right. They have circumstances that are completely different from other publishers. Other publishers, they just want money right now. They want to get a multiplayer game out, and even when they make single-player games, there's always problems. Fallen Order is a perfect example. Fallen Order came out, wasn't done yet. Not only did they need to play test it some more to make sure it didn't have those launch problems on PC, it had issues just with frame drops. It had issues with glitches. It had issues with just playing the game and getting it to turn on and run without closing your console for after a certain amount of time. Like, it had its issues. These things Larian could fix without them ever even becoming a problem. They developed the game even as people were playing the game. First time they got a majority of the game done to where you could play test it, alpha, we were playing testing it. They got consistent feedback as they were developing it for 4 years straight. Do you know how unique that is?
I mean, but it's not.
Other developers, they don't get a chance to do that.
I mean, sure, for like,
but I'm not saying
it's not super big, but like, I mean, you've had plenty of like indie titles or whatnot that's like their mainstay is like being able to be play tested, because you can support it on their Kickstarter or whatnot, and plenty of those are seen to either not get finished or end up in like an abysmal state. A big portion of that, a big pusher of that would be Hello Neighbor. Even like that game was like its mainstay for it was like, it was like an early release development game that took years to finally develop and whatnot, and then like before it even really fully released, it had already lost all of its luster. And that was mainly due to them like getting, I don't know if this because they got bogged up with like the reception they were getting from it during like those play tests or whatnot, but it was like breaking more as they were putting out more releases or for the game or whatnot, to the point where like when it finally released, it was like this broken mess of a game, and like at that point it's like, I don't really care for the story anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by like Larian is unique for multiple reasons. One of them, they're not an indie studio. Well, they're independent as a studio, but they're not running as an indie studio. They're developing a AAA game funded by Belgium, the country that they live in. Because of that, they're making they have tons more time. They have way less studio developers working in that one studio that they're working out of, and they're just, the way that they worked, the way that they designed, it works best for their team. The bigger your team, the harder it is to organize people on one specific topic. But the main point of congestion that I want to get through, because of their unique form and take on AAA development, they've been able to develop something that is very worthwhile, that is good, that is precise, and that works on day one. Other game companies don't even get that luxury. Not only do they majority of the time have publishers that they can't do that with, they can't choose when they want to release a title. They can't choose how many workers they're going to have. They can't choose how many years of development time they get. They get a deadline, and they might be able to push that by a few months to a year, and after that, they're normally fucked. And when you get that deadline for a game that's supposed to take 5 years to develop and you only got 3, you're going to cut some corners. And then when you got to fix those corners later, that's where the issues emerge. Like
But like I
this game
said,
development is very different.
but that's between the game developers and the producers. Like that's the
Oh
whole.
yeah,
But the
but
whole
I think
issue
it
with that.
starts with the publishers.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what I mean. The publishers of those games, but at the same time, making it so that the customer, the customer, the general public and the customers that you're making these for suffer for it, and are the ones at the end of the day that have to now pay for it, is where it's becoming an issue for the game. So like I understand all that. Like I said, gaming is hard. I mean, gaming development is hard. I mean, just in general. Production and output and the business side of it is a whole another aspect of it. But at the same time, you do have these. You can't sit here and say that like the point of it means that okay, we just can't do better still. And like
oh no, they can, and
better.
that's what they need to take from it. That's what they need to take from Larian. It's not so much that this needs to set like a new precedent for gaming. It needs to set a new standard for game development. Not only the surrounding area, that's like the actual work conditions that they're in, but the way that they set expectations and deadlines. All of that needs to change. Developers shouldn't feel so bogged down like they do. The reason why developers themselves are getting so worked up is because they know they don't work in an environment in which this type of freedom is even available to them. So to see fans tell them, oh, they need to do this, they need to do that, they're like, we can't do that. Like, you're asking us to set a precedent for something that we literally cannot do. And I'm like, hey, they got a point there. So we should start pointing the hand at the people who set their expectations, who set their precedent, which is their publishers. Larian ain't got that issue, but they do. And the only people who can fix it are their publishers. And they need to pay attention to what Baldur's Gate's doing. Because Baldur's Gate's a prime example of how to develop well.
The game.
Keep going. Sorry. Sorry, playing.
Yep. Baldur's Gate's just a prime example on how you're going to develop video games well in the future. You should always be getting your community's feedback. Not just when the game is done and on its way out and you're showing them what they're doing, because it's way too late to change stuff by then. You can only make minor incremental changes. You can't change big development features. They should know what you're doing as you develop it. You're trying to sell a product, so you should sell a product that they want, not just something that you can get money out of.
Exactly.
That way you can continue to get money out of them. Larian literally started with Divinity Original Sin 2. That community, should I say 1? That community has been so happy with those games that when Baldur's Gate was on its rise, a majority of the pre-orders came before they announced the game available for pre-order. They came while the game was available in alpha and pre-test. That's where I think 2.5 million of them came from. All their fans were built on the playtest, their ability to play the game as they were developing it. That's where all their feedback came to. That's where all their ideas came from. Just seeing the things that people were doing, hearing the things that people wanted to be able to do. Like, they grew it based on how game development was changing during that time. Like, most games do not have nude models during character creation. Cyberpunk did. For no reason. Because they were developing it as Cyberpunk was going through its shit. They saw what was good, they implemented it. Their fans wanted that, they implemented it. It's like, and they work with their audience, man. That's the best thing about that company. They are so fun. They enjoy themselves when they're doing stuff. They're passionate about the projects they work on.
It's the passion behind.
It's like video game designers now and these AAA studios, they tend not to even be able to get passionate because they don't normally get to choose what they work on. The big passion project, like God of War, turned into a passion project for that studio, but it didn't start that way. And in their own documentary, they state development was going through hell because they all weren't on the same page. They all weren't passionate about what they were doing. But once they had that passion, I think they said they went out to like a team dinner and they talked through some things and came back the next day and the passion was there, the work effort was there. And they gave us God of War 1, one of the best titles we've ever experienced on PlayStation. Just 10 out of 10. But without like that luck, game development is always difficult and trials and tribulations. That's why when we see like big companies that we really like that have these great names like BioWare and Bungie, we love the games they were doing when they were indies before they had a big publisher telling them what to do. Like Bungie looked like they were on the right track after Forsaken. because they were on their way out from from Activision. They were on their way gone. They were feeling real good and hyped up, and they were giving the community what they wanted. They were making everybody happy so that they could continue to make money after that separation. You know what I'm saying? Now they're under Sony, and Sony wanted what? Money from microtransactions. And now Destiny is what? Money from microtransactions.
I mean,
and
that started
before
because like that.
It started before.
It started like pretty much as soon as they're split. For real, if we want to be honest, like
yeah, but we were getting content that we enjoyed during that time. Well, I can tell you that.
But what is that? Is that due to the fact of like content that they had stacked up? Because what I want to say. What I would say for that studio specifically is that after they lost that parenting figure over their head, because like when they had a studio that a production company that was like going to be like on their ass, like okay, like you said, you have deadlines to meet now, so you have to have this much done, or this much done, or whatever, blah 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 by this state. So yeah, it's while like that's a work ethic that like kind of created this infrastructure that we're dealing with now that still also made it so they actually had to output content content, because these last few DLCs that they've dropped have been ass in comparison when it comes to the actual content that's been released in it, and like the actual story depth and the detail that goes into it. And like I said, I feel like that's a big point of like due to them not having that hovering figure over their head of like, okay, no, you need to put more into this point because this is our customer base is not gonna do well or whatever. But like now they can just kind of throw it to the wayside and say like, okay, we did our best or whatever, and like put out some half-ass bullshit.
Nope, I actually don't even agree with that, because Sony gave them $3.8 billion in the acquisition. I'm pretty sure they can afford more developers to work more on that game. Instead, they're putting all that money towards that new Sony title that they're working. That's why our Destiny is shit, because they've been working on that title. They pitched that title, and that's probably the reason why they got picked up by Sony in the first place, was for that title and Destiny in general, which is already in development. So Destiny is becoming what Sony wants, a cash cow, and that new title they're doing that they're currently developing alongside Destiny is also going to become what Sony wants, probably another cash cow. And as far as I'm concerned, there ain't much we can do about that. And Destiny's going to probably be retained and continue to be crappy because they're not going to put any more work into it. They just came out with like an article where they were a twat this week. I forget what it's called, but it's when they do like their community reach out and they tell everybody what the game is going to look forward to in the future and what implements and changes they're trying to make.
Right.
So they were talking about that. And the first thing they said was, we don't have enough developers to give the PvP community an app and to give you guys new armor every single week, single season for like your...
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about.
Your Nightfalls
but
and stuff.
At the same
and I was like, oh, you don't? But when we go on Eververse...
Exactly, they have a whole brand new
when we go on
armor
Eververse, there's a new armor set. And there's not just one.
That's what I read.
There's the one for the Titans, there's the one for the Hunters, there's the one for the Warlock, and then there's the other versions underneath those, really like the first legendary one that normally is like on rotation throughout the week. Mm-hmm. There's the other ones that are offered throughout the entire season. So it's like we
get these
you
when
have
you
the time.
actually spend money on it. But when
yeah,
it's like
you
for
have
the
the
general
time.
gamer base and like for general health of like the actual game player base and whatnot, to keep the people who are playing your game happy, is no, fuck them. And it's not like you already delete it's not really like you already delete hundreds of dollars of bought DLC and game content already, but that's already beside the point at this point.
Oh yeah, because the point isn't to like the point isn't to get new people into PvP. The whole point isn't to get really new people into the game at this point anymore to experience PvP. The whole point is to get people into the game to play the PvE experience that they sell to you every single 3 months. That's the whole point. They get you in for one season, hopefully they can get you in for the next. They get you in for one season, hopefully they can get you to spend some extra money in that season and maybe get you in on the next and do the same thing, rinse and repeat. That's all Destiny is at this point. There's no point in implementing on PvP because that's not what people hear about Destiny. What people hear about Destiny is the PvE experience and the raids, and that's it. The loot. That's all you hear about Destiny. Yeah, the last raid was Booty Cheeks. I even like no, I heard that somebody beat it in like 5 hours. Like,
Yep.
that's ridiculous. But also, since they left Activision, they don't have that other company that used to make their dungeons for them, that used to make their raid content. They don't have that company anymore. So they've been having to make their own raids. And as we already know, they barely had the people to design that stuff back then. They damn sure don't have the people to design all this stuff for the regular game and for raids now. They just don't. I have absolutely no faith in them making anything else that's drastically improving on the game, because they're working on something else. So I feel bad for that community, but also at the same time, shit, man, play the game and then jump to something else. Like, that's the best thing about games. There's always going to be something else that's good. This year is a prime example. We just had good games all year. Just in every genre, there's just been good games all year. Just put it down.
So far this year has been.
Try something else.
Oh, that's what I did. No, that's
it's the most stacked year we've had since probably pre-COVID.
After I finished the story thing on the last DLC for Destiny, I was like, yeah, well, that's it for me. That's really. I mean, I'll literally be looking around the universe planets like, no, I think I'm good here. Okay. So yeah, no, like I said, but yeah, there's plenty of games that started to come out. Luckily, especially like I said, Remnant 2. We're still trying to fucking beat that last boss. Oh my god. Because we decided to play on fucking veteran, which wasn't
Smart boy.
which really wasn't that bad from this point on. But then this final boss is like
making you think, oh,
not
now it's bad.
Not even. It's just like it's like one of those bosses where like they kind of just throw some shit at you. It's one of those bosses where like it literally just like, okay, we're doing this just so you have to replay the boss. Like, it's one of those things like, okay, you're gonna have to replay this multiple times just so you can get the mechanic of it or whatever, because it's not even like one of those things where like, okay, this is a slow, it builds up to this. Like, no, you get to his second phase and like this nigga just throws everything at you at once, and you're just like, oh, okay, so that's what's happening now. And it's just, that's just all it is for that whole second phase. This nigga's like melding, switching between two realities, that something is happening differently on the other one, and it pauses whenever you switch between each one. So whatever's happening on that previous one, you got to try to remember your positioning and where that boss is. So, but while you're in this new world and dodging shit currently, and then trying to remember where he is in that world when you switch back over, and now you switch back over, it continues for wherever you were from then. Ridiculous shit. Everybody's in different places once they come back between worlds. So say somebody gets downed in one world and you're like right in front of them about to heal them. He switches worlds and now they're on the other side of the fucking map, and you're just like, this is okay.
Yeah, that's the new game. Like I'm saying, like there's just good new games.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, man. I remember when Octopath Traveler 2 came out, there was actually hype for Octopath Traveler 2. I was like, geez, nobody even cared about the last game they came out with, Triangle Strategy. Gonna find out, Triangle Strategy sold pretty decent as well. I'm like, oh, people are paying attention. Like, people are playing games that are coming out that are good games. They're enjoying good titles this year. But we just gotta be honest. In my opinion, we have to be honest. Without developers on other teams being able to have a little more freedom, being in an environment that actually promotes creative video game development, and being able to do the necessary things to ensure a good product, they're not going to be able to do it. It will not happen as often as we want it to. Like, just most of the good games we've had feels like sometimes they're just luck. I remember, did you ever play Dragon Age Inquisition?
Of course.
I really liked Dragon Age Inquisition.
Of course.
I enjoyed the hell out of that game.
That game is beautiful. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong. That game, oh my god, so good. Yeah, no, the Dragon Age series is wild, but yeah, Inquisition.
Yeah.
In general.
But that one, I enjoyed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But that game is a prime example of luck development.
Really?
Coming out with a product, people playing it, and it being very lucky that they enjoyed it as much as they did.
Really?
They rushed the hell out of that game. That game was literally put together in a year. Like, they have a whole documentary about it. Articles were written about it. A new development league came in the last year, scrapped the entire thing, and threw it all back together in just 1 year.
You did that shit. You did that shit, cuz.
And he did that shit. And you know what's crazy? he did the same thing with Anthem.
Oh, well, no,
You know what's crazy? Did the same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda.
He didn't do the same thing.
No,
Okay,
but that's no.
Damn,
But what I'm saying is,
line of games, what just happened? Fuck, yeah.
see what I'm saying? He had one. They did one, and that set a precedent. And that's a prime example of where development is now. Create a game,
you did so well.
get it going, put it out, throw it out, and if it's fucked up, build on it, and hopefully it's not. Or hopefully the bad things people don't care about as much. Because Dragon Age Inquisition had a lot of bad stuff from people who like used to like Dragon Age games. A lot of them hate that game. Because one, the actual combat system was really janky. Two, your ability to use the strategic combat system was really simplified for a lot of it. It was just pretty much, to the point where you didn't use it. It just became an action RPG. The loot drops were abysmal. The story was decent. The
story, I don't know. The dialogue choices
I do personally for Dragon Age.
I feel like that shit was that shit is real.
But that's a Mass Effect trope.
Exactly.
I mean, BioWare trope. 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that. Yeah, not anymore. But also, I mean, I wouldn't say that game is where they lost a lot of the talent.
But like, I will say like they just don't have the relationships to hold it up. Because like, Andromeda just didn't have the character to build up. Cause like I said, that was literally just what was it? Fucking it was fucking Mass Effect Brotherhood. That's exactly what it was. Like they really tried to like redux the universe and just like, okay, this is a remix of the world. It's just like, cause this shit is just the same exact shit, but just with the fucking decast. This is crazy. Why did you fucking bring a team a class A2 here? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, we didn't need it, but they wanted to revive the universe. They wanted to start in a new galaxy, doing new stuff, new people, new planets.
And I didn't do anything new. That's the crazy part. This is the same story.
But that was the thing. They relied very much. It felt like they relied very much on previous material to get the story going. It didn't feel genuinely compelling, to be quite honest. Like, I enjoyed the fact that I was on a new planet, but there was only one new race in the entire game.
Yeah, it
just
all
one.
Felt, again, it just felt like not even a re-release.
Two,
like
one really.
Like it felt like what Final Fantasy is doing with the remixes of fucking what they're doing with the Final Fantasy remix of like their
Kingdom Hearts-ifying them.
Yeah, like what they're doing with them. It's just pretty much what fucking Andromeda felt like. It's just like, okay, well, this is the same story, essentially remixed and better in a way, in a sense of like the game mechanics are kind of better, like, compared to like Mass Effect, driving around on the fucking planets and everything. That's what I mean. Like, that's where I say like it's upgraded in that sense. But then everything else takes a huge downfall when it comes to like the actual story, the characters, the me caring, because like, oh my god,
the actual game being put together. Because let's be honest, Andromeda failed just off the memes of the glitches.
Oh yeah, the facial expressions, the character models. Like, oh my god, it was just insane.
Just done. And it's like, but even then, it's just straight up luck. And I think Cyberpunk is a prime example of the middle ground, where the portion of the game that you got is actually so solid, the game is decent. But the broken bits of the game make the game almost unholy unplayable. As in, on console, it crashed almost every 30 minutes, and on PC, you would have cars flying out of the air, people falling through the stage, and people dying from bunny hopping throughout the map.
Oh yeah, I had plenty of broken cutscenes, but I was like adamant to get through that story, because like you said, the story was just compelling.
I liked the core of the game was actually good. I enjoyed moving around. I enjoyed building my character. I enjoyed getting new outfits. But it's like basic stuff. Transmog's not in the game. Shops are constantly and repetitive. They all do the same thing. Driving is ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did it. Yeah. I just didn't have a problem because I only drove motorcycles, so I didn't even know the car mechanics were as bad as they were until I had to do a race.
Like when you
until I had to do that race mission, that's when I figured it out.
When you had to do like game story force car
chases that didn't actually have any control over the gunplay.
You on the track.
Shoot. Literally on the track. They just do everything for you. It just felt abysmal. Those were the things that could be forgiven. the main things that couldn't was the fact the game was unplayable on old gen consoles
For most
and
people.
crashing on
In
current
gen,
gen consoles. Yeah. Like, that's the main thing that broke that game. I feel like if that wasn't the issue, it would have passed just like how the last game we were talking about. What was the last game that passed? Inquisition. It would have passed just like Inquisition if it didn't have if it didn't have
If you could
game
actually
breaking
play it
glitches.
decently, yeah, exactly. If you could get to that game,
it would have
decently.
just passed. And I think that's an example to me, and has been an example to me of what the issue is in gaming. And I've been just perpetuating that for the future. Whenever I see a title that from articles that says things haven't been going so well, it's got pushed back multiple times. When it has the attention that Redfall had, I had no hope for that game. When I could tell that things just aren't going the way that I want them to go through just the things that they're talking about.
I mean, I
let
could
the
tell
game
by
go.
looking at that
Like,
game that just wasn't going to be it in the first place. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't know who.
When they released gameplay, yes. The first time they announced it though, with that the official trailer that they showed before they got acquired by Xbox, and I think it was the E3 of that year, we were hyped for that for real. But the game didn't look like that. We didn't expect the game to look like that, I should say. No one expected that, because we all were thinking it was going to be something else. Like, do you remember what the original trailer looked like?
I don't think so. I have to look back.
Dude, we thought it was just going to be a high-def Left 4 Dead with vampires. Instead, y'all got that. Like, some weird arcade vampire slaughtering simulator. It was just not what people were expecting it to be. When they saw the gameplay of it was when people knew that the game had gone through a dramatic shift and that it wasn't going to be good. But we have had those examples before in the past. Like with Cyberpunk, right before the game came out, they started telling us of features that were being removed. They didn't tell us how bad and unplayable the game was, but they did start telling us about features they had to remove because they just couldn't get them to work. Period. And I was like, oh, you're just now realizing you can't get those things to work? That means you're currently still developing this game, and it's supposed to come out in 2 months. You just now figured out you can't get the wall climbing to work? You just now figured out you can't get the wire hacking thing that you showed us in a whole ass gameplay trailer? You just figured out you can't get that to work? And I'm like, but we just saw that. Like, oh no. They've been brainwashing us this whole time. And that was, they've given us warnings. Like, sometimes we see it and it happens and we just weren't ready. And then other times, there's just bad games. Like, in my opinion, at the very least. Like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, to me, is just not a good game. I know a lot of people who liked it, who enjoyed it, but to me, it was just a boring, way too expansive Assassin's Creed game.
It was just a giant sandbox game. Just not...
felt like way too much.
Because like, I already felt overbogged with Origins, but at least that story and everything was like super compelling and all that. So like, that's really good. But like, I was starting to feel that in Origins, where I was like, okay, this is a lot. And then like, I felt like it was also, at least in Origins for me, that it was still felt very linear, because I felt like, even though I have like, you're making me go across all this expansive spaces, you want me to go where you want me to go, like, because like anytime I try to stop off at other islands or whatnot, they're like, yeah, you shouldn't be here. And I'm like, nope. Well, why the fuck not? I'm not about to just drive by all these fucking islands and not do shit on the way here just for me to be under leveled there and level up there when I could be on my way, come back and pull up. And I was like, no, you know what? So I stopped at every island, and I ran for my life to every fast travel point and everything, and then made my fucking escape like Johnny Depp. And I was like, all right, I'm not pirate no more. Cause I was like, we just jump off the island and just swim to the boat wherever it is. Like, I don't care how long I gotta swim. Fuck it. I got that fast travel point. But yeah, so yeah, no, I understand about Valhalla. I didn't even bother playing that one. And most of the people that I've heard who played it just did not enjoy it. So
yeah, but it did well. Another thing, when it comes down to just publishers having weird ass expectations, I thought Final Fantasy 16 did very well. I'm pretty sure it sold fairly well as well. Square Enix released a statement saying it didn't hit their expectations at all.
Yeah, I would say that's crazy, because I thought it did well. Yeah,
they were expecting what Baldur's Gate is getting from Final Fantasy, and I'm like,
Mm,
I don't know why you thought that.
Yeah.
When, to be quite honest, the game in and of itself is just a hack and slash with Final Fantasy overlay.
Yeah, like it's
There's
not even Final Fantasy.
nothing
Fantasy.
special about it.
Yeah, like it's
it's nothing special.
It's cool
bro.
and all. It looks nice. Like you told a decent enough story, yada yada. But like, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just like, I mean, shit, it's not even as good as what Final Fantasy 15.
For some people, maybe not. I thoroughly still enjoyed 15, like at least the version of the game that you can play now, a lot more than I enjoyed my run through of 16. But that's a personal perspective on me.
I'm just saying, like, as far as like what it even is to do, as far as like the expansion, where there's so much more to 15, even like regardless of the DLC currently. That like actual world and like you progressing through that, it's like just way more of I feel like of an adventure and like way more to it than. I don't know, 16 feels more, I don't want to say rushed, but like it feels like the
it's
story. It goes, you go straight through. And so like, it doesn't feel like I've spent that much time with it as I did with 15. Like you sit with 15, like, and you really become like part of that world and everything, and like you really feel entranced. But like what I do fuck with it, like with 16, it does everything that it does well and good and whatnot and everything, especially when it comes to like the knowledge system, where like in the middle of a cutscene you can just go ahead and like, okay, I don't know what the fuck these niggas talking about.
My God.
That shit is beautiful.
Like I lied when I said they didn't do anything special. That in and of itself was so like I was raving about it the whole day. I was like, every new scene, every new place, every new character, I'm clicking the button.
Yep.
Like I was doing it all the time. I was like, this is what I want from every game that I play that has an expansive world like this. Like, if Octopath Traveler had that, I would love that game so much more.
Oh
Being able to like go into a new like RPG world, like where there's an entire history and everything, and you just don't know about it, and then being able to learn up on that history as you explore that area. Just chef's kiss. Whoever came up with that, just
A1.
give them a raise.
A1. But see, that's the good and bad with like game development, because then you have companies like Nintendo, where you have Tears of the Kingdom, for instance, or I mean, just the more recent iterations of Legend of Zelda, and its implementation of like the crafting and recall systems and everything. They putting out multiple patents on those systems, pretty much similar to like the whole Nemesis system with Lord of the Rings, Shadows of War.
Oh, so other people can't create a game where just create items and stuff
that,
to
like,
use?
they can only use that shit and stuff. So like, it's sucky in the sense of like, because like I said, it's still like those essences of like not even console war, but it's just like the greed of like certain companies where like you would think you would want so like the freedom to like for people to for other games and everything to be able to put these things out. I mean, not Nintendo, but we know not Nintendo, but but
you would want the creativity of it. You would want to see what other studios could do with your idea.
Exactly, and like and allow that freedom and everything. like that's why we haven't been able to get a similar thing like the Nemesis system anymore, because of the whole patent with Warner Bros. and fucking Shadow of Mordor and all that bullshit. So now like another game,
a system like that, man. Like man, you be playing Seafood.
But you're cutting out. I can't hear you.
Oh, it must have been this car just drove past. Oh, am I still cutting out?
Yeah.
Oh God, what?
It'll be like a little quiet.
Down?
Okay, I think you're good now. It wasn't like doing the robotic thing. It would be like you would literally be talking and it was just. And then
oh man, again? Why is that happening now? I really don't know what. I don't know where that comes from. I'm thinking that it might just be how long, like the Discord thing. I'm thinking it might actually just be a disconnect between my phone and Discord. But who knows?
You're good right now, though.
Yeah, that stuff needs to they need to just chill out. I enjoy my games. I enjoy decent games. They don't even have to be great. Like I'm sitting here playing Captain Tsubasa again on my damn PlayStation. Like they don't have to be crazy expansive games. Just like I said in last episode, make games good for what they're supposed to be. Not everything's supposed to be an open world, man. Not everything should be like crazy PvE experience with a new season every 3 months. Destiny. Like sometimes we just want you guys to make a good over encompassing game, bro. Like PvE's been y'all giving so much attention, and PvE's been years and years and years and years of just straight PvE. And I get it. It's the only way y'all can move your story forward. It's the only way the game can progress. But without even the slightest incremental updates to PvP throughout those years, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, Gambit has been untouched for years. They're just like, oh, wait, we used to have that.
And to be honest, the excuse for that has always been us, the community. We're the reason they don't know what to do with the game mode. Because if they make this change, we don't like it. If they do this, we don't like it. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm never like... I was waiting for y'all to actually shift up the game mode. Like, keep the idea of the whole PvP, PvE thing, but just add something. Like, change up what this repetitive gameplay is so that it can go through some type of incremental changes throughout the game. Like, if I played it 10 times, it's not the same thing, and the only thing that's changed are the people that I'm playing against on the other side that I cannot see. And like, make it to where, like, there's something different, like a specific bonus or a new enemy type, or maybe we have to teleport to another map, or maybe there's actual puzzles to solve, like we get in raids or something. Just something different. Instead, you play 10 games of Gambit, it's like you just played one really long game of Gambit.
Nothing's new.
Yeah, just booty cheeks. But hey, when that's something I also really did want to talk about. With the idea of microtransactions and all that, I just feel like they have a place. They really do have a place in game design. Skins, cosmetics, all that stuff. The game I've been enjoying recently for the last week, Naraka wouldn't even be as to me as it is if it didn't have all these extra accessories and comments that I can add. Like this, and I know it'll just be more as the game continues to be played. It's like number 4 most played right now on Steam. Like everyone's playing it all the time. So I know it has people playing it. Eventually, the content will just keep dropping. They got a Nier Automata collab going on right now. Yep. Collabs will just keep going.
I mean, the way Fortnite is going, somebody's got to start getting in there, because Jesus Christ, Fortnite is going to be just the fucking Disney of gaming right now. It's got everything, every IP. Jesus Christ, Star Wars.
And they can do that. I mean, really, they can do that because they're so big. Like, that's the thing about gaming that they just haven't realized yet. When you make a game that your community enjoys, you can literally just get money off that. Like,
if you just change the game up, that's the thing. It's so funny because like they're not afraid of changing like their game completely to whatever it is currently. It's just that whoever the developers of that game have like understood that like to be profitable in like this gaming sphere or whatnot, and to like only be like this is their only game. Like it's not a Fortnite 2 or whatnot that they're like doing and everything. Like they're just like, yeah, no, like we're just gonna put our everything into this. So like they're like, what gets people's attention? Let's do a virtual fucking concert. Now they hold virtual concerts regularly, like annually and shit. Like it's semi-annual, whatever. Like and so like and that like brings all this crowd. Now they have like all these IPs that they're, and like the crazy part with these collabs that they're doing, they're not just like little simple collabs of like, okay, you can get this little cosmetic and like, okay, now your kunai looks like you're throwing weapons. It actually changes the gameplay. You can literally go Super Saiyan in this game and throw a Kamehameha as gameplay. And like I was literally looking at a video today where like this guy was Fortnite, and like one guy there, somebody's on the other side of this map from them, and so the guy that they're fighting, he's just like building away, like it's just OG Fortnite, like building down, building up, building a bridge over to him, all that. Like this nigga emotes and sits down and is just watching him do all this stuff. He finally gets over to him, builds around him or whatnot. This dude is just bouncing around, emoting, does the freaking the Zoidberg. emote, and then just goes Gojo and hits him with the hollow purple, and kills him. That's just like, what the fuck?
This is ridiculous, man.
Is this game right now? This is like people can throw kamehamehas, hollow purples and shit. Like they
At
can
the same time, hollow purple you, man.
Like it's insane. Like what they've just like. You would never in Call of Duty see some shit like that.
But that's where like that's they not only developed that engine, but they know very well what to do with it.
Yes, they know their
almost as if like
they know what the fuck to put into it. It's crazy.
And their developers are honestly just extremely competent. Like the ability to not only continue to add to the game every time there's an update or collab, they also keep those things. Like the fact that you can still whip sling around, but just with that little whip now, the little zip line. The fact that you can still just pick up stuff from like their first collab with Dragon Ball. Like the Nimbus is still in the game every now and then. You can run into a Nimbus in a vending machine. Like there's cars now. I remember before the game didn't even have cars, guys. There was a time when Fortnite didn't have vehicles. Like the game is just like you can swim now. There's more than just built-in bowers. Like the rest of the map is actually intriguing and useful. They add stuff and keep it there. Like there's 2 different maps. It's just there's so much stuff that just having a good idea, implementing on said idea, and continuing to develop on top of it. Like I said, it's not easy, but your community is always going to be there. There's always going to be those creative people that's going to come up with an idea, is going to say something, and as long as you're into your community, I feel like you're going to have the ability to do. Like people are always going to come up with something, and when you don't, as long as your game is solid, they just make it work. Like the community always just make it work. If they want to keep playing, and you have a way of minorly, you can just make money off that forever as long as you keep your fan base there. It's like I just don't get it. For Honor is a prime example. I don't even like that game.
That's
I don't even like it all that much. People, like, I just enjoy hitting people, and that game is solid. Rainbow Six Siege has been solid forever.
I don't know. I've seen people play Siege, and it's that game, the gameplay I'd be seeing from that, it's like, I couldn't be on here because y'all would be sweaty as fuck. But y'all be in here. Like
That's why I wanted that Skull and Bones game, that pirate game they were working on, to be a good, expansive pirate game. Because if they can get these 2 niche titles, like the Siege side game mode, into a whole Rainbow Six Siege, the 4v4 battle type game mode into a whole expansive game like For Honor, they literally just took what we used to do in the Star Wars Battlegrounds and just made it hack and slash. Just, here you go. And said, hey, enjoy that. And people love it. You can do it with fucking pirates. And then they befuddled it. Threw it all over the ground and stumped on it. I feel like half the budget that they got to make the game, they just put in their pockets and said, hey, do something with it. Because like that game could have been so good too, and they just ruined it. Ruined it.
It's ruined.
You just ruined.
It's ruined.
Like, man. And now I'm over here playing Overwatch 2 every once in a while, getting my heart broke. Or playing Stellaris and being sad that I can't get my civilization to top #1 economical structure in the universe. I can't enjoy Destiny anymore. It just hurts my feelings. I love loot-based games, but it's just, why are they failing me? Because these studios just can't get it together. They not get it together.
And speaking of, even with that, the current, even with older games that they won't let die. We got the Red Dead Redemption conversion that's $50 for PS4 and Switch with no HD updates, remakes, or anything like that. And they're just like, oh yeah, this seems like this is the right price based on like consumer policy or whatever. So like we should be fine. It's like, no, what? Why, who
no.
even in their right mind? And it's crazy too, because apparently you can get it pre-owned for the PlayStation 4 and all that for like $30 and be fine. It's like the exact same concept.
Yeah, like nobody needs this. Nobody wants this. You're dumb. You're poo poo stinky doo doo. Like, get out of here.
But like
I'm
companies
sorry
are
to
just
say, but
so
this is
money hungry
about.
right now, and like I don't know if it's just like like you said, like a matter of like with they just there's this companies that just kind of need to make money right now, and like since they've got all these
But
hits
they
and
don't.
misses.
They don't. They've only had Grand Theft Auto, and then they came out with what Red Dead 2, and then they came out. They've been releasing these weird, dumb remasters slash remakes slash reports that have just been awful for the
Same with
community
this
since.
because even with like the GTA trilogy drop, which was cash as a
Yeah,
remaster that was iffy at best.
nobody wanted that, and y'all know nobody wanted that. Why y'all bring that here? Now y'all look
Insane.
stupid, and we all dogging it out. You're just stupid, and you put bare minimum work into it and sold that at a decent price. Get out of here. Get out of here. You AI upscale that whole game. No, and then like Atlas is no better. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Persona games. Been pioneering them long before Persona. Atlas is well known by the world.
Facts.
I love those games, but also at the same time, since they've gotten a name for themselves, they think it's okay to release a title with 4 DLCs on day one. That's not okay, big fella.
Yeah, like what are
That's
you doing
why
here?
am I getting an extended ending to a game that just came out as a day one DLC? What does that sound like to you? Removed content.
Yes, like
Get
why isn't this
out.
already in the game? This is crazy.
You said I get to pre-order the game. Like, I remember they came out with that. No, it was regular Persona 5, was it? Where on like day one you could get the the Persona pack that had like the Persona 4 and 3, and I was like, what? Why is this even available on day one, bro? You can just get Izanami no O and just run the entire game. Like, yeah, I don't understand. And it's like, I love that company, but y'all need to get out of here, bro. Y'all need to get out of here. Stop. You're being bad.
No, they were
And then
already
we're
started
gonna
acting
stop
weird to
playing
me
your
once they
games.
started doing the Persona Q stuff. I know a lot of people like that or whatever, but like all their chibi
But
content,
those
I
are for
can't.
other consoles, man. Like, they released them boys out on like the DS and the DS, like the 3DS when they were released, like that first Persona Q. It made sense. It would be weird as hell to me if Persona Q launched on PS5 right. Then they'd be doing me a crime. At that. I would have to stop telling people I love them so much at that. I'm like, oh no, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's just they have great IP. The problem with those games is that they are strategy RPGs with bare minimum like microtransactions. You can't get much game time out of them. You're only gonna sell a certain amount of copies, and the rest of your money is gonna it sales throughout the years. Like, more people will buy Persona 5 over the just because it's like rated as a number one top RPG of a certain time. People will play it more throughout the year,
Hmm. I mean,
and
that's
that's
just
where their
that type
sales
of,
are gonna
and
come
that's
from.
just that kind of game though. Like that's like I said, like you just,
Yeah,
it's
and
not
that's
one of
where
those games.
that's what sucks when you develop those types of games. But that's what you gotta live on that.
Mhm. But like
So
that's why they release
if they
games
want to make
like
other titles,
Demon Survivor and whatnot that are like
yep, Demon
microtransactions and mobile
Survivor,
games and whatnot. I can't be mad
Persona
at it.
Strikers,
Yeah, oh my god,
like, and
that
stuff
fucking
like
hack
that.
and slash bullshit. I mean, even Persona Q,
Yeah,
like that has its whole own little niche. All we have to do is like, what's is that? Oh my god, and then don't get me started on the rhythm games. Is that Q?
yeah. Oh no, Q is not the rhythm game.
So
Q is the chibi.
yeah, the chibi stuff, and then you got like the stuff with like dancing all night and all that.
Yeah, which is, don't get me wrong, as a fan of their music, is one. I understand there's some people who will get enjoyment out of outside of our country. Our country.
Yeah,
Let's just be
I can
honest. There's
understand
probably
it
a lot of people
from
in
that
Japan
point.
who like that,
So that's what I'm saying. Like they got to get their
but I
money
ain't one of
somehow. So
those.
I'm glad that's like it's in that sense it's like it's separate, but like at the
Yeah,
same
but it
time,
should stay like that.
yeah.
Do those low budget titles that take place in the universe or that take from your previous game. Do that in your low budget things and sell that like crazy. Do your mobile game like they're doing with Phantom X. Do that. 10 out of 10. License it off to somebody else
But
and get them to make money out of microtransactions.
what
I am cool with
I
that.
don't like
But
about
don't
it,
sell me day one DLC.
well that and then like what I don't like about it is that like they're doing that, but then also making them continuations of the actual story. So like what
Oh,
the
is
strikers
that what Phantom X is?
no, I don't know about Phantom X for sure, but I know I think it was Strikers, which shows them older.
Oh, coming back from his summer
Yeah,
vacation.
exactly. And so like
Like Force
it's
Certification?
like a whole continuation. I mean, even same with fucking Arena showing the fucking older forms of fucking Persona
Oh, the
4
Persona
characters.
3 characters?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that though. I loved
No, I love seeing
that.
them older, but I was just like, why is this in arenas? I mean, why? This is it's
I
why?
mean, at this point, that's how they do their things. Like, I would enjoy it if they did like the Final Fantasy approach, where when we really like a game, we get another number for it, like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13-2, and Lightning Returns. Like, I would like it if they would do that, but also at the same time, it could get boring quick, if that makes sense. It's like, what would be the point of like the big doom at the end of three? Like, you get it done, and then you come back some years later to like continue that story.
No,
Like,
but
how
that's
do
the
you
thing. I
boost
don't want
that
them to
off?
continue the story, but like at least in this instance, they have them still fighting shadows or whatnot. Apparently, like these like they're still they're still active in the world or whatever. I mean, I would have preferred, I mess with it just like how they did in 4, where essentially you just take a surprise trip to the island. You don't even see most of the main characters there, but you see like all your
Yeah, that
support
was
characters and
dope.
everything. You see like, okay, this place still exists. Everybody's still just living
That
life or
was
whatever.
dope.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we already know with this remake I'm interested, but like I said,
And
that oven
even in
looks like
five, the posters of the
yes,
girl.
exactly. From in the
What?
movie, she's in the movies and
Yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Rike.
yeah,
Rike. No, no, it's not
no.
Rike. Rise.
Rise
Yeah, it's something. It's
it's
something
Rise.
close.
The art. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's Rise.
Was that her artist name?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I just got it. But either way, lit. I really did enjoy those versions of callbacks. But it's just knowing that there was a version of the game that puts those characters somewhere else in their life, like further. I think that's fun. Like, it's just something people get to enjoy. If you don't buy the game, body play it on you.
No, I bought that
It
game.
just
That's what I was
promotes the
upset. The
universe for
game was
me.
so much.
Me too.
I
Me
was
too.
so upset. I think I told you I fell asleep playing that game, and it was still sitting on going through cutscenes when I woke up the next morning.
It was so many
And I
cutscenes.
mean, not even
And like, if that
cutscenes,
stuff wasn't
dialogue
voice acted,
boxes.
I'd
I'm
hurt
saying,
you. Yeah.
Jesus
If it, at
Christ.
least it was voice acted. But if it wasn't voice acted, man, I would have dropped that game.
That was unnecessary. It was so unnecessarily long. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I just fight something? This is crazy. This is a visual
Hey, look, I
novel. This is
enjoyed my
insane.
girl Chie's story.
Mm-mm.
Oh man,
But
her story was so good.
speaking of stories, I finally caught up on that Jobless reincarnation for you, buddy.
Hey, yeah, at you. And now you're in the cool calm stage. We're in our version of Farmland Saga right now.
Is that what we call this? This is the cool calm stage? Where we're part.
I mean,
Are
yeah,
we
you know,
talk about the anime?
sure.
He's in the mage school.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Man, this
see what
man is
he's
still
trying to.
tripping. I don't care what they say. This man is still just a son on this bitch. I don't care what nobody say. He still can't get it up. And I know the main reason is going to be because of this girl. Okay, so here are my thoughts, complaints, and and likes of the show. Okay, the show is good in the sense of like we said, like you get like I said, it's the turning point episodes that really just like, okay, yeah, I bet. All right, like, okay, I see what you mean about the turning point episodes. It's like, okay, here we on some shit. I fuck with it.
We hitting.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, it's still weird that this is a 30-year-old man that knows he's a 30-year-old man. So like, I feel like it'd be different if he just forgot during like when he was in his regular version or whatnot, but like I'm like I don't know. I get the complaints about the show about like how this is weird. Like this is this.
Oh yeah. The fact that he's like in a child's body and talking to kids and shit.
It's so like I get that, but like most of the time I can like kind of subside that, even though they put most of his thoughts in his man voice for some reason. I don't know. So I'm hoping that like
It's ridiculous that they do that.
Yeah. So like
Makes it so much harder.
Exactly. So I'm like, but like, I try to, it's a cartoon, anime, whatever. So we're gonna try to let that aside for now. But so that's like one of my biggest complaints, of course. But yeah, aside from that, the actual story wise was like it's been like obviously like dope. Like I said, his reunion with his dad and all that. That shit was crazy.
Yo, shit had my heart pumping.
I was like, hey, yo, I don't know whose side to be on, because I get it, but at the same time, I get it. But like, yeah, like,
But it's like, dude, like you really expected your child to be on a quest to like find people and to know what was happening?
Well, yes and no, because his dad was making. No, he's not. That's my whole issue with it. Is that yes, he was.
In reality, he's not.
Like his dad don't know that, of course, and all that. But like everything at the same time, it's because I'm thinking. Well, the way I view it is because like he is that whole shut in side of him and whatnot. So he wasn't really thinking about it all that in that sense or whatever. Like I said, he was just kind of like. I wouldn't say he's leisurely having fun, but like this nigga, let's be honest, it's not like this dude is going through it like my boy in fucking ReZero. Like he really like he got sent to the Dark Continent and all, yeah, and like it was like a lot of crazy stuff was going on, but like you was kind of living a slice of life for real, like chilling, like you met your bodyguard like the first minute, so like it wasn't like you really were like he didn't fight
for everything
when he got like no, he was treated he was the brain power for sure, but like he said, when they finally got to Central Continent, he didn't do shit that whole time, and I hadn't noticed. He hadn't done shit for real. Like, he did plan a lot of shit out and whatnot, and, like, was involved, like, in the planning, was, like, in the forefront and whatnot, but I was like, these niggas was actually handling everything that whole time. Like, I didn't notice until, like, the fight with the dragon god, with the god dragon. That was like, hey, wait, this is the first time I've seen this nigga fight. Hey, what has been going on?
He hasn't had to. That's my main critique of the show. Like at a certain point in through the end of season 1, he's so much better than Eris that you pretty much the show makes that season about Eris. Even in the manga, it's pretty much about Eris because she's about to leave. So it's very fundamental that they get through that she's going to try and level up and that she's still not going to be as good as him even when she does. So it's fundamental to that, but also at the same time, it's their way of showing just how strong he is. Like, you remember that scene where they're like training together on the beach and he has that eyesight thing where he can see slightly in the future and and now he's just way better. Right after that, they had no reason to him. No one else instead of people who are like extremely good at their talent can even face him and possibly win, because as long as he has the physical ability to navigate their movements, they can't do anything to him. If he can do it with his magic, they can't. If he can do it with his physical body, they can't. So they have to be both physically stronger than him and mentally at the same level as him. Fight. Otherwise, they can't do shit. And most people ain't that strong in this show. Like your day-to-day people just ain't there.
No, for real.
I do feel you on that. That is one thing that used to get me a lot about it, are both those things that you brought up. I think my main thing is I really like the character journey that our main character goes through. At first it's difficult to like get into, but the surrounding world that slowly gets bigger and bigger as he goes through things, I just like it a lot. I love the going through the Dark Continent in season 1. I just love seeing new places, meeting new characters, learning more about the world.
I hate the haircut trope. That was so stupid. That was so stupid. I was like, because I already hated the way it looked in the first place when he cut it there. I was just like, we're sticking with this? We're sticking with this.
Yes.
We're sticking with it. I hate it. But then that became like the actual thing that was like bringing the curse. Like, oh, he cut his hair, so it's fine. Well, why? I mean, that nigga had green hair, so, you know how that should go. What? That's how what? So, yeah.
Ridiculous.
So that was something that was just like, okay. But aside from that, I do hate, like, the whole trope of, like, as soon as you find somebody, nobody knows who each other is. It's just like, okay, so nobody knows each other for real. And you can't recognize. I mean, I get with the whole Fritz thing, for instance, is just like, I don't get the point of having to be secret between each other.
Oh, at this point, she has absolutely no reason to hide. It's like a it's like a bait tactic type thing, and I feel like one, it's the way of like the author padding out the manga, but at this point, it's something they have to cover because it's essential to the future. Is I just felt like this is just his hormonal side speaking. Like this entire arc is gonna really suck if they don't get to a certain point because we're not gonna see it until like season 2 part B or something. But I just hope this gets past his erectile dysfunction.
Oh my god, yeah, because this whole
It's one of my least favorite parts.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing right now? I'm like, what is going on here? Is this okay? Like, so this dude is really pressed about this little 15-year-old bitch for like this is crazy. This is
Yeah, it's his first. He is extremely pressed by it. Like, as I said, if you're a really big fan of his character journey, you understand why he is acting the way he is.
I know.
You get it too. You get it. You get it too.
Because what I'm
You really don't get how a
because...
shut-in who's never had an interaction with a woman gets an interaction with a woman.
Yes,
she leaves that same night and he's distraught.
I get that 100%, and I'm just over it because it's like you're grown. Because as soon as I saw it, you know what I thought? Damn, grown ass man. I was just like.
He big grown ass man that didn't grow up.
Grown ass man right now. Real tears. This nigga hurt. This nigga is hurt. And I was like, for 3 episodes, this nigga.
It's wild. It's wild. But I felt the same way when he couldn't walk past the front yard at his new house. I felt that way then,
yes,
and then afterwards, I was just
in the shut-in. Like I could kind of understand that, but like at this
bro,
point,
you're in a new world. Get outside.
That and it's just like. And then he shuts himself in again. Like it was that whole thing of like him going back into his old habits or whatnot instantly as soon as anything goes bad. I'm like yeah, I don't feel bad for you though because like nothing for real happened to you. Like there could have been like I get like what happened to you when you became a shut-in or whatnot, but nothing to that measure has even happened came close to happening to you. Like
yeah, and like even the people around him didn't have that much sympathy for him. Like you remember the butler when he was like, "Yo, you got to do something, or you got to get the hell out of here, bro." Like, no one really has sympathy for him.
It wasn't even about the sympathy. It was like, because like he is a kid or whatever. So like I get that, but like to them like, well, for one, he already knew what was up. Like to him, like he knew like she's just going to level up. Like I think he already knew. Like he's more perceptive than this nigga. That like she's just like cause especially and obviously the way she left that her note to him or whatnot is kind of misleading. I can see how he could kind of be misled in that regard or whatever, blah blah blah. But I'm saying like this nigga, whose panties is he carrying around? Like it's not like what is your actual motivations here in this world? Whatnot like were you really like that pressed about this bitch? Like you didn't like each other before y'all got teleporting. Yeah, y'all spent that little time together over the Dark Continent or whatnot, but this is not even apparently your whole like main love interest or whatever you want to call it to begin with. So like what do we really what's going on here? Like, and so I get like, you know, it being his whole first time and whatnot, and like that's what I'm saying, like that's my biggest complaint with like him still showing him being the 30-year-old thing is this is like it's just super weird because grown ass, I can't not think it, grown ass man. Like, oh, what are we doing right now? I can't feel the sympathy for this 15-year-old, you know, going through his first lovelorn because this is actually a grown ass man lovelorned over some 14-year-old bitch who really isn't even who really ain't did shit to this man, or who like. For real, like say so like close nitpick like this bitch is like a yandere. They've danced a few times once, like, and like yeah, she's like the first person that's like shown an interest to like okay being receptive to his like freakiness, and like you said, this man is just he is one of those guys who are just like, oh yeah, I'll wait 5 years for it, like this is worth it, yeah, hell yeah. For this is like damn 30-year-old man waiting waiting on it, like it's crazy. So like. And so like I don't know, it's that point of like the, you know, that kind of that part of like anime where I get I guess not even necessarily being older, I get like the frustration with it, but like, because like it's always kind of been that thing where it's just like it's hard to defend because it's just like, yeah, no, this shit is just weird. Like there really, there really isn't a reason for it. I couldn't say like people like everybody's complaints with like what was it High School of the Dead. I was just like, yo, that was my shit. This is a fire story or whatnot. But like, yeah, you're right. Why is it so sexual? This is this is not necessarily. But since I'm with it. Like said, like some people like, yeah, like you said, it's just like, you know, it's its own little niche or whatever. But like for the fact that that's like all over anime in general, like the concept of fan service in general being like a necessity and shows nowadays, it's just like, okay, I get it. At the same time, I would like to be able to watch anime on my speakers sometimes, because like, but like, damn, it's like
actually be able to have it out here.
But like, no, like. It's I just feel like it's reached a level. I mean, I knew it reached a whole new level of depravity once Fire Force came out, and you had a whole side character whose latent ability was that she was fan service. Like that was pretty much it. Her whole point was that like, okay, I'm not only a cat girl who has cat abilities and everything, but my clothes just fall off randomly, and that's my character. It's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. So we're just putting it the nail meet hammer meet nail, like, Jesus Christ.
Fire Force was so interesting beyond that too.
Everybody else, okay, I talked about this all the time. Everybody else in that show was interesting besides Shinra and then that bitch. Like it goes everybody else, that bitch, and then Shinra. Because I swear I hate that main character so much.
Oh man, you remember the guy with the stars in his eyes?
Fucking fire character design.
Like,
weird motivations would not, but like, what the fuck? It's just, I can't. They have the lamest fucking main character in all of anime. I swear to God. And Tanjiro is a close second, but this nigga here.
He said, I don't like that Tanjiro fella.
No, Tanjiro's alright. But he's a close second as far as like, he's just kind of bland as far as like a main character goes. Like, oh yeah, he smells shit. Okay. But like he just you know, he as a character, he just really just shines as like, you know, the protagonist writing just goes for him, where like I don't really
for me that was most shonen. I've never really our main characters. Like, I'm not a big fan of Ichigo. Naruto's perfectly fine.
No, I love Ichigo, and I only love Ichigo because of his interactions with other characters, though, and that's because the side characters are written so well. Well, no, that's because the side characters are written so well. So, like his relationship with Chad, for instance, I love that whole backstory and side character arc, and why him and Chad are friends, and why he decides, you know, to follow Ichigo and all that, and like, you know, their whole backstory and whatnot.
Can I say something about that? That made me like Chad.
Yeah,
more.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I love Chad, and I love that whole backstory from it, because like it amplifies not only Ichigo's character but Chad's character and everything, and it makes me enjoy that all the wiser. Fucking Ichigo's especially in this newer season, Ichigo's and Bakuya's relationship, fucking oh my God, so fucking well done, bro. Like, from where we started, and even from original Bleach, from when, you know, the whole Rukia you know, saving arc and whatnot, and like, you know, finding out his actual murdered this man at one point, but like, you didn't even know, like, this nigga was one of the original Itachis, you come to find out. It is like, had this whole thing, and then to get to the newer seeds after all that history or whatnot, to get to Ichigo unlocking his Bankai, yada yada, all that, the whole temporary Soul Reaper, him not being a Soul Reaper thing, that like all that relationship to build up to the most recent season where this nigga Bakuya got his guts splattered out on the concrete, and he's sitting here not only apologizing to this nigga Ichigo for even getting him involved and having to get him involved in just being a Soul Reaper in general all these years, but the fact that he has to now ask for his help again and protecting the soul. Nigga, I was in shambles, nigga. I was like, yo, do you not understand what this means right now? Nigga, I wouldn't say a word either. Nigga, it's bumpers. Do you not know what you just did? You just made hell freeze over. This nigga Bakia is a whole different man right now because of what's going on right here. This is insane.
Even then, all those scenes, I feel like, and this is just how I personally feel. I love that about Bleach. I think when it does like really character impactful moments, it's amazing. And the show does it even better because of the soundtrack. Like, you remember that scene with Gin as well, like when Gin's dying and he gets that whole like, yep, and you get to see all of Gin's like backstory with Mitsuri, and you just like, oh, it's just so. It's so emotional, bro. They've known each other since they were hood rats, bro. Like, it's just ridiculous. And he's, like, done all this just to protect her, bro. He don't give a fuck about nobody else. And it's just like, man, it's just crucial storytelling. It's like, same thing with, Tosin and, the wolf guy whose name I always fucking forget. And, like, their friendship, it just continues to go even after he's dead. Like, he's still... using his blade and revenge is like a prime thing. It's all of his final arc as a character, and it's just like all he's thinking about the whole time is Tosin. And
yes,
it's just like,
yes, that arc,
man,
exactly. In the end,
just so good.
He didn't heed his own words. It's like crazy. It's just like, yo, we're still getting callbacks to arcs that are, bruh. It's just beautiful.
It's just good stuff, and they've always done it. But even then, I see that stuff, it just makes me like those characters more. Ichigo's involved because of his character type and what he brings to the story for that character type. But for me, he's just been that bland character type the whole time. His growth has come from his knowledge of his own history, and that's been the most compelling thing about the story. Us learning his history. Beyond that, Ichigo's just been Ichigo since day one, and everybody else has grown, changed, and bettered. But he hasn't had that needed to. He hasn't really had like the need to.
He just has to get stronger. He doesn't have to. His character doesn't need to be developed.
And it's just like but his strength is also coordinated with his main back. He needs to understand Zangetsu in order to get his Bankai. He needs to understand who and what Zangetsu is in order to understand and get his Arankar. He needs to go beyond that and what his Hollow is in order to get his full combination of both of them.
And then to get the final Getsuga
and his final Getsuga Tenjo, yeah. And then beyond that, he needs to understand what it means to be a Quincy, that he is a Quincy and everything in order to unlock his surpassed version of a Soul Reaper.
Well, no,
form of a Soul Reaper.
Yeah, that's because before that, though, he has to actually become a true Soul Reaper. So, like, that's where you are currently now in the show, is that he has to learn what a Zanpakuto even is for real. And, like, what he has to start from scratch versus, like, what the actual Soul Reapers did. So he did that, to actually get to that true soul, to become that full Soul Reaper, and then now to surpass that as a Quincy, and learn all that. So yeah, no, that's a dope character. Like they took, I feel like everybody talks about how like Ichigo's just everything. I feel like yes, I mean obviously yes, but like I feel like they do it in such a well written way that like it always has a dwell on the story. It's not like, oh yeah, then it gets hits with one of the abilities and just because of that he's just one of them now. Or like, oh yeah, like no, this was already deep seated. Like yo, this nigga was already just the mutt of all mutts.
And their character development comes through in those battles. It's like it's akin to some of the best parts of Naruto fights where you're getting character development. They're learning from stuff as they're fighting. Like
and that's what
and Rukia finally connect in a fight.
Let's protect the Soul Reapers. Let's protect the Soul Society. Let's go. It's beautiful. But
Rukia and Renji, a fight. Renji and Ichigo in one of the best OG original fights. Right before Kenpachi. So everybody forgets about it. But that fight with Renji was fucking lit.
Hell yeah, that was lit. But that's also because, like, literally the next time you see them, they're kind of buddy almost. Because like Ichigo's like, yeah, well, we're pretty much after the same thing, buddy. So you protect her, I'm gonna protect you. We out here now.
It's just like, but all that stuff, like his character journey, is a great portion of the story. I honestly have this always my favorite part. We learn the story. Like the moment his mother fights the hollow Arankar thing, the moment that happens, like in the manga, was yeah, this is my favorite Ichigo story, like, period. Like, everything else, like him meeting Chad, his friendship with Odahime, the other characters who don't have special abilities in his school, like the soccer girl and all them, like,
Yep.
all that stuff was cool and all. But this shit right here is where it's at. Like, Grant Fisher was that nigga forever. Like, you
Grant
saw an
Fisher,
image
yeah.
of Grant Fisher and your eyebrows just arched. Like, you were just mad every time. Because you knew what he did to Ichigo. And now you're just like, bro, this whole time it's been Aizen.
Aizen.
Why didn't we kill that nigga back then, bro? We should have just killed that nigga. Why is he in prison? We should have just killed that nigga.
Because you need a dog to handle the dog. That's why.
Yeah, oh my god.
I can't wait till they release
the way they
Aizen.
even bring back. Yeah, I was about to say the way they even bring back Aizen is just. It's just so much they do. I just enjoy the characters, man.
So,
the
like
character
I said,
dynamics makes.
it feels like what
Bleach.
was so lacking with like Shippuden and all that, where like you had all these well-written characters back in from Naruto that like completely get left to the leeway or like completely hold in the next season without like even like a slight ounce of any more character development or anything like that. And then like that's another complaint I had about Demon Slayer is that like they try to do the whole character development thing so backwards where you get the fucking enemies character story while they're dying, and it's so like now I'm supposed to suddenly give a fuck, like what? This is so weird that like, oh,
Humanizing the
you
demons,
weren't
which
so
has been like their trend since day one.
I get like humanizing the demons, yes, but like humanizing the demons like as they are already dying, there's no redemption in that. I feel like it's just like, okay, cool, you feel bad for them, I guess. Like, yeah, you.
I don't know. I've never taken. I feel you on the deaths and aspects of the deaths. I don't necessarily like feel a certain way from them, but I don't feel like they're supposed to be redeeming. I kind of always it's just like yo, let's do a life. Like for the second, like for the last season, for instance, season 2, the last enemy is literally just supposed to assign duality between Tanjiro and his sister.
No, that comparison I did at least understand. That one made sense.
Yeah, like this could be.
Most of the other ones I
There you
didn't
go.
care about. I mean, I got the family thing, I guess.
The Spider Family is a reflection of his own
That's
family.
what I
Yeah.
said. The Spider Family
It's
was
just,
like the same thing, but those were like I said. Then you have the Endless Warrior who like doesn't want to die. I guess Akasha. And you already that's more manga spoilers, but you know the top head. You know why he's in that, and then
Like,
the other nigga's just crazy.
but it's just
with it.
but it's like they do that to try and like they're not supposed to be forgivable shows like so to some degree. I get it as long as we're getting a backstory. I do agree it is backwards.
It's backwards.
But at least it's fucking happening.
And I guess it's like there's something different to it and whatnot. But like then you have the niggas like the base nigga. They just didn't have shit for that nigga. He and then even the most recent nigga from the last season, him, I was like what? Okay, yeah. So like yeah, some of them are just like alrighty. Well, let's get this over with. Lop that nigga's head off. We out of here. I don't care. But yeah, no, the ones that are comparisons like to the actual lives definitely hit the most. Like you said, I understand like the twins series, like oh, this could have easily been us or whatever, yada yada. That made sense. The whole family thing, I get as well, but still didn't hit it so hard. But yeah, no, the twins thing that definitely like makes sense as far as that comparison.
And it just runs through the story. It's just supposed to be a story thing. Like some of the best anime I've even liked recently, which really sucks to say this, but it is what it is. Like I've liked I've liked some sports anime recently because they come off extremely wholesome, and if they're done correctly, they end up being really good character stories, and sometimes really good analysis of sport. But most of the time, they end up being really good character stories. I love Haikyuu. That's still just one of my favorite anime of like the last 10 years. Like it's just such a good anime to watch. I just love it. The same thing with Blue Lock was fucking dope. I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10. Kuroko no Basketball. I enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one.
It's pretty good.
Oh, you don't give that one a 10 out of 10?
I'm gonna be honest, when it comes down to the things I just mentioned, like character study and all that stuff, no. But when it comes down to like the actual sport part and the show, It's just a 9 out of 10.
That's what got my attention.
But if I put those two together, it drops to an 8.5 to an 8 because it doesn't actually have the criteria that I mentioned.
That's fair.
But it's still like one of those top ones. But and then there's another one called Aoshi or something like that. I really like that one as well.
So the biking one.
And no, actually, I did like the biking one too. He-Man. That was my shit. That one was dope as hell too. And there was a track one that I watched, which was about like this kind of like, he wasn't a thug, but kind of like this downtrodden kid coming from like a kind of like a rough upbringing, and he's really good at running because he steals from people. And it's like he's a person that. So he has really good speed, really good runner, and then obviously he gets picked up by a guy, and now he's get used to people, talk to people, let people, so forth, and it becomes a great little character story. I like that stuff. It's almost like I get to enjoy like a basic rom-com, but a sports theme or with something in the background that keeps me entertained during like those episodes where we're like seeing how the character's development will now interact with the story. It's like cool stuff like that. And it's easier to do in sports anime because, well, there's not much else around it. Sport. It's just cool. I just feel like other shows they just do too much. Like I don't need all my isekai to have egregious power ups and crazy vast open worlds and dope powers and fire episode. And sometimes I just want to chill out on my characters. That's why people like Reincarnated as a Slime so much because of those characters.
Understandable. Speaking on the new forms and all this, have you seen the new transformations out here?
Are you talking One Piece, my guy?
Yes, sir.
I was really hoping you were gonna say like the new outfits for Boruto or something.
I mean, yeah, time skip outfits do look alright, but definitely some decent character design. But I mean, we've had Bleach all these years, so I mean, we're glad somebody could catch up. But anyway,
they ain't hat and claws. But yeah, I saw that Gear 5.
Gear 5, transformations in general have always been one of those big mainstays in anime, and one of the, the biggest highlights in a lot of shows. What do you think of this new transformation? Is this groundbreaking? Is this, hype levels? What are you on?
I still gotta fucking read One Piece, bro. So I'm just like, I've seen it, and it feels like the last time I saw Power Up. I'm just like, oh, it's dope as hell, but I'm not invested, so I'm not catching the vibes like everybody. But I do think almost everything they do is dope as. I just gotta get the urge to get up and read it,
Nah, 1,000%. No, I've read some of it, and I can't keep. I guess the show itself is packed so much already, but I'm too impatient for this show, because reading it is just gonna make me more frustrated on what's going on. I mean, at least stuff actually happens in the show, and in the manga, because I've been keeping up with this fight with Kaido, and it's, oh my god, I think they're at the 40 episode mark for this fight, and it's crazy. But
it's ridiculous.
I will say, there was so much hype for that, and I think we talked about this last time. Oh no, we didn't talk about this last time because the episode hadn't came out yet. But there was just so much hype for this episode, for the release, enough reveal of his Gear 5, and it was just so. And to me, only because of the actual episode itself was just mainly you got 3 minutes of actual gear time, so it was just oh, okay, this was a lot of filler or whatever. But getting into the actual fight and everything, I was okay, this is cool and all, in the sense of One Piece, who he pretty much unlocks Toon Force, so he becomes all that durability and everything. The scenes are cool.
Toon Force.
And so it's cool, but do you think, what would you say as far as your favorite transformations in anime that in comparison? Because I have two off the back that just kind of just instantly had me just on another level as far as like hype
Oh,
level goes.
that's crazy. If I have to go like through my entire life and like their effects on me, I'm probably gonna have to go with like Gohan, Super Saiyan 2, and Dragon Ball Z. I
Yeah,
loved
Spice.
that fucking scene.
Uh-huh.
And probably Fooly Cooley, the final battle of Fooly Cooley. My dude gets like two guitar
Yeah,
wrecking
okay.
shit. Those are my things. They're the biggest impact.
That's
Super
understandable.
Saiyan 3 Goku is honorable mention.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku is cool. You know that's not bad in itself, I won't say. One of my main ones was definitely Gone, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, yeah, big hair boy.
Yeah, big hair boy. Just that scene alone was like the whole build. I mean, cause like just it was started a couple episodes before that where this man was like on a completely different plane than he had been the entire show. This man was like the whole bubbly childlike kid or whatever, and then all of a sudden this man making threats and everything. His aura is all about him. Like, yo, what's about to happen? So like just the build up to it alone was already so hype for me. But like I tell you, when I watched that scene for the first time where he like turned into like this black inky form that we ain't never seen nothing close to or even like been hinted of, because it wasn't like Naruto where like you got like hints of like, okay, the one tails and the chakra leaks out, this, that, and the third, all these years. Like, yeah, no, this shit just came out of complete left field. It's just like 1 second on screen, and then the next second you're like, excuse me, the fuck? What is happening here? Like, yeah, no, I had to replay that scene like multiple times just to fully appreciate that. That one, and then, oh my god, no, it was a beautiful time. But then what would be my next favorite power up scene? Because it doesn't have to be, because like so that's that go.
Oh, right off bat, huh? Right off bat, you say. Oh, are you saying it right now?
I said,
is that it?
No, but because like Gohan Super Saiyan 2 is already just so fire. Super Saiyan is that classic though. It's just like, you know, they kind of hit, like said, like I think it's just like, you know, the build up with everything and like that Krillin, they did Krillin so dirty. I understand why he retired and became a cop. Like I understand. You've been through some traumatic things, my boy. You go ahead and sit this one out, buddy. So but would I get? I don't know, cause like at the same time, when we got like Vegito and all that, those are just such hype scenes.
Rough, my guy.
I'm trying to think. Well, I'm trying to think if I want to think of anything less like more controversial than just like going through like the mainstream. But like, I think
I felt like that was my Fooly Cooley take.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like you said, Fooly Cooley, and I was like, damn, no. Like, if I had to really like go back and think of like some of my like like, you know, big three transformations.
I mean, I could give you like a hint of another anime you might. I really like Demon Inuyasha the first time he goes.
I was just thinking about that when he loses the sword. Exactly. Yeah, and like his demon blood kind of comes up. I definitely was thinking about that. But you only really see that a couple of times, and it's like they only really go into like with Shishomaru and all that.
That first time.
Oh yeah, but that shit is always fire.
That first time.
It was always hard to see that. To see his like full demon side come out. Like, this boy is already can already be a full-fledged demon. That was his wish that he wanted to make. But got this and had this boy Shishomaru shook too. He's like, am I feeling fear? This is crazy. Hold up. No, we gonna have to call.
Let me just start dodging real quick.
Shishomaru like pulled back up again. He was like, hold up, I'm gonna need you to bring that dog back out of you, because last time it made me feel like a little bit of a bitch, and I just want to check that real quick, cause he ain't no way I'm about to be out here thinking you about to bitch
You the
me.
little brother, I remember. You the little brother out here, big homie. You gonna be little homie again today.
You ain't about to just bitch me. He pulled back up. It's like, nah. I don't know what you on, but I'm taking that sword, and I don't even want the sword right now. I'm trying to see what you on, because this is crazy. That was crazy last time, and you caught me by surprise. And last time I said I ain't have time, but today I got time.
That one, there's a few in Hunter x Hunter you might like. What's what's a really old one that I? No, that's a different show. That's something nobody even knows. I'm gonna say Oman Star Racers. Nobody cares about. There's the first time Aang goes like Avatar mode.
That's cool,
in the Air Nation Temple.
That was cool, but nothing like crazy. Like,
oh man. Hey, bro, I don't know.
Like, I mean, if we talk about like Aizen's ascendance with the how do you say it? Hiroko.
They killed you.
That transformation was crazy. I mean, he went through like 3 different. This boy was turned into Frieza. Had like 3 or 4 different stages to himself.
And they were all ugly.
Atrocious, but it was so cool. Let's see what else. Dark Deku. Dark Deku is one of my favorite forms of somebody.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry about that.
You saw that name.
There was something that I just had on the tip of my mind. Oh no, never mind. That's reincarnated slime.
Reincarnated slime. That's dope too. The demon lord. Oh, that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I was like, oh, my dude just came out and just eliminates everyone. He can just one tap the whole audience. Oh man.
Black Clover. Gotta get into them. Asta's, demon divider mode. That shit's dope. I can't wait for that to come back. 'Cause that's gonna be lit.
Man, I almost forgot about. Like, do you remember the first time with the Witch Queen? She puts him in like that bubble to truly unlock his like half demon form for the first time. I'm like, oh man, they really put the button.
Like, okay, my boy can contend.
The first time he gets his sword.
Hold on, you're starting to sound robotic again. Hold on.
Oh, I can fix it. I got you. Exactly what it was. Ooh. There we go. Just started getting better in a minute.
That shit. Say something.
Right, there we go. It should be a lot better now. If there is at all,
I think so.
Should be pretty decent. Yeah. Yeah, that should. Man, there needs to be more transformations in my head right now. Oh, man. Hitman Reborn had one. Man, are we still trying to find you a second one, right?
Well, I was just like bouncing through those things. I would say if I had to choose from a more recent thing, I would say Black Clover is more recent. Asa's last form and that final fight with the demons, because like that shit was just so hype. This boy got what, and like they did it, and it was so funny because he gave this man 6 seconds of being able to hold his form, and I enjoyed that way more than the whole 1 second Shinra bullshit from Fire Force.
Man.
Oh my god. And that's supposed to be like
help my brother out.
But oh my god, that was just so it was, the hype was just so, it was all there, and just I'm enjoying. Yeah, like I said, this has been a good time in anime right
Ooh.
now.
You know what else I just remembered? This is the last one, I swear, and then we can move on past this one. That Ukiyoda Ichigo fight, bro.
Of
Both those
course,
transformations go in.
both
The
of those
Vesta
transformations.
Lourdes and Final Form Ukiyoda.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yes. I mean the Black Rain alone, like the aesthetic. Oh my God, that was really like OP times right there. That boy was on some other shit. I'm not allowed to use this anywhere. Essentially, like yeah, I came up here because I can't use this in the house. Essentially, is what he said.
Like my boy, my boy.
Absolutely beautiful. It was so beautiful.
I never let Dad know about this mode.
Now, do you have any for your final topic? I would say, do you have any underrated anime that you feel like you want to get out there?
Underrated anime though? You know what? People still have not started watching Kingdom, and I need people to hop on that Kingdom.
Kingdom, okay.
I know, it's a martial anime. It's an anime version of the Three Kingdoms novel. So you know, it's got Lubu and Cao and all them people in there. So it's a fantasy reimagining of the Three Kingdoms novels, which is like, you know, this crazy war in China that everybody likes. But great show. I thoroughly enjoy like our main characters rise up to the military ranks. Season 1 is very difficult to watch because it's almost all of it is 3D CGI, and it's not the best version of it. It's not the best and not very easy on the eye. Season 2, they kind of do a better job of splicing like the 2D and 3D, and by season 3, it's just a pleasant thing to look at. It's a lot easier to view and actually enjoy every frame. But I'm telling you, if you can get into it, you can get past season 1, you'll really like watching our main character thrive. It's a good story. I enjoy it. So much so I started reading the manga because the anime is taking to it.
I feel like I've heard about Kingdom, like not, I've heard about it in passing before, so I have to check that one out. Yeah, Kingdom, big bet. How long? You said it's 3 seasons?
Yeah, about 3 seasons now. I think maybe 4. I had to correct myself because one of the seasons felt really long for some reason.
Fair.
But I finished it in about a week, so I also watched a lot of episodes. I can't really. Yeah, it was just one straight through, and then immediately started reading. How about you though? What's yours?
Mine, I gotta say, World Trigger. If no one has ever seen World Trigger, I highly recommend it. It is one of those like
World Trigger is lit.
Yes, it's one of those sleeper shows that like it's not for everybody for sure because it's very strategic based on like when it comes like the fights and everything.
Yeah,
so
team
like
battles.
it's all about team battles. But like so like essentially you have this world where they're apparently coinciding like worlds that travel nearby our world essentially, and so during these phenomenons they would have these things called neighbors show up, where in the normal world these portals would appear and these aliens essentially would show up and start attacking people indiscriminately. So they create like a whole task force that's made to not only study and fight against these waves of neighbors that come through and then obviously like be on forefront, but to get this technology and repurpose it to to be able to combat whatever's happening. And so it goes from there to like you find out like there are multiple different types of neighbors and whatnot, because initially they start off as this like autonomous being that look like just these robotic type bugs or whatever, and then you come to find out there's a whole set of people behind those robots actually that have been sending them over through here, and now they're starting to send humanoids through that are like next level and everything. So now this agency who has like some of them have special abilities, some of them have special types of weapons or whatnot, and it varies on like their classes and which weapon they have. And then the higher levels of like they have these black weapons are like special elite soldiers who have like not only some type of special ability on top of that, but like their black weapon is like special and can do something special on top of it and has like some hidden latent ability as well. and it is like so good. Like it is, if you like big like team battles and strategic battles or whatnot that aren't just like based solely on like, oh, who has like the strongest power level or whatnot. It's very like technical when it comes to it. So like, you know, they have to very much think their way through, and like the big portion of it is the power upping, is the main group and team having to, the main character is essentially the weakest character out of the cast, actually, in comparison to what you would usually see in most animes where like the main character is the most OP. This man has like zero talent when it comes to fighting abilities or like technical prowess and whatnot. So it's not like he has like some massive chakra pool or anything, nothing like that. This man is just essentially a normal person when it comes to comparison to his team. Like, it's one of his teammates is an actual neighbor who like has a black weapon and everything, and like is like this ace who's like just naturally gifted, can do all this crazy stuff. And then his other teammate is this shy girl who has like the power reserves of a god, and apparently just like being a sniper makes her so dangerous because her output is so fucking strong. A regular gunshot turns into a fucking explosive cannon in comparison. So it's just like, it's insane. So it's super cool to see like something like that, especially where it's just like this giant, you have this big arching story in the foreground, where like, you know, you have these other worlds that they want to travel to like find missing people or whatnot. But like the main state that you currently are getting is, you know, the team fights with versus like the classes as they're trying to level up to be able to go on this mission to go visit the other worlds or whatnot. I don't know. It's, like I said, it's a slow burn. The season, I got to see when like the next season drops.
Oh my gosh, you want to talk about a slow burn?
Jeez.
That first season came out years before years. I thought we were never gonna get season 2. Season 2 came out. I was so happy because it was like a dead arc of anime, and people were diving into that show. I was so happy. I was like, yes, people
and
can watch it.
And it came back out of nowhere too. Like that was the crazy part. Like I didn't hear anything about it, and then all of a sudden it was.
I was keeping up.
And all of a sudden it was just back, and I was like, oh,
I was keeping up.
Let me see. What is the most recent
really
news
good
on
show.
World Trigger? Because
it's spoiled so just a little bit in the synopsis. Really good show.
Oh yeah, about the neighbors probably. Yeah.
I just watched a new episode.
Of which one?
A tiny little bit. Just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit.
Of what?
Oh, and about the little girl. Hella reserves of power.
Yep,
that. A little bit of a spoil.
And that and the neighbors I said about the humanoids, because you don't even know.
Yeah, they'll figure that out on like episode. Yeah, I mean, yeah, not the humanoid. Yeah, they'll figure out fast. Yeah, fair enough. Y'all want to watch it? Y'all will watch it. Shit'll get real.
it's super good. But so from that was the topics I currently had for us. Unless you had anything that you wanted to add.
Honestly, man, to give it like a whole end synopsis on this one, for me the video game portion was kind of the main thing on this episode. Like, bro, it's just ridiculous. Like, my main point was the Destiny one, about like how they could say they can't give people armor every season. That armor that they grind for every single season, and still be able to work on other things. But we can get new armor in the shop every freaking season, on top of the armor that we're asking you for. Like, you've been doing it, and now you gotta dial it back and just give us armor in the shop. And I promise you, if I see additional armor in the monetization shop, if I see more, I'm just not buying any more DLC. I'm just done. I'm like, that's a prime example. You can, and you know you can. You just have different priorities. And if you would be fully honest with us about the state of your company, where your development assets are going, what you're actually doing and working on, I'd be cool with it. But instead, y'all keep giving us all this corporate jargon and covering up stuff. Like, bro, we know why you're doing all these setbacks, because y'all working on another game. Just say so.
Just say
Let us
that,
know
yeah.
if a Destiny 3 is coming or not. If a Destiny 3 is not coming, then that's why you're hiding it from. Because you're making a big mistake. Sony gave y'all a big payout. Get more developers to work on Destiny 2 if we're not getting. If you ain't designing that shit right now, then I don't know why we're this game. You have developers. What are they doing? If you're doing the other game, then bring more to Destiny, please. We just want stuff again. That's it. Just want loot. I want PvP. And you don't even gotta give me new maps. Some decent game modes every once in a while would be great. Maybe keeping the game modes on rotation. Maybe just actually giving me good gear at the end of PvP would be great. Like, God, that's just annoying. And both these things gonna change gaming for the better.
Well, yes, hopefully.
Yeah,
We're raising our expectations 1,000%.
My expectations were raised decades ago.
Facts. Y'all feeling me.
Yeah, I mean, damn, the Cyberpunk was my big failure. That's when I realized at the end of the day, even I'm susceptible.
It wasn't. I even feel like it was like a super failure in the part because I was like I said, I played it and I still like enjoyed it. Like I said, I wish it did ease out on a better, come out on a better foot.
Just because I was so blind to.
And I know I feel that, but I didn't feel as left because like I felt like the last time I really felt robbed was when Anthem came out. I really like felt accepted. I was like on day one. I mean, I was on day one on Cyberpunk too, but I felt less disrespected on Cyberpunk than getting through all of Anthem. And I was like, yeah, that was a waste of $60. Like that was so not worth my money. I'm so upset. Versus like Cyberpunk, I was still playing even after that. Like I played a couple times through it. I started a whole. I don't know if I told you, but like yeah, no, I started playing that game and like restarted almost halfway through because I couldn't romance Judy.
I'm sorry.
I was like, so you're telling me I have to be a woman to romance Judy?
I made a woman. I knew that from the get-go based on the stuff that they said before the game came out, so I knew that before I even started. I made a woman with a dick. I was like, well, I'm gonna smash. I'm gonna smash. I don't care what nobody say.
No, okay. And then we get to the end of that. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. I was so upset. That is one of my main complaints still about Cyberpunk is the romance system because for one they gave me the option to create the size of my dick and all this, but like don't see shit during the sex scenes or whatnot, barely. And then like the actual romances where like you got the sword, you got through their storyline and then that was essentially it. You got some like passing conversation and whatnot. But like outside of like Pan Am's ending, it's like you really don't get shit for it for real. Like you get like I said, a little passing conversation. But I will say though, Judy's ending, why? Let's please don't hurt me. So upset. Are you kidding? Take me with you at the very least. Like what is going on? Why don't I get a choice in this? I really don't want to stay here for any reason. We can go. Why don't I have any options in this? Oh my god, I was so, and I don't even know what happens with oh boy. But yeah, no, that ending just really skewed me the wrong way. Like regardless, this bitch just leaves. It's just like, hey, you for real? You for real? I helped you with all this, the craziness with your friend and all this, and this is how you do me in my time of need?
And I'm not gonna lie, with my game glitching and being broken, you know how hard it was to do those video cameras?
Bruh.
It was awful, man.
Awful.
I was focusing on that stuff for hours just so I could get you to love me.
And this is what you do to me. This is how you treat me.
Like, I was just
we got to the end of that game, and it was already weird energy as soon as you get out the bed. I'm like, hey, yo, this is not a happy ending. The fuck? What is going on here? Can we talk? Why are we ending the game like this? I don't like this. What?
My nigga said, "Oh no." She asked me, "Can we talk?"
I came here to escape realism. What the fuck is this?
Good morning, eggs and bacon. I just saved them.
The credits are about to roll. What are you doing? And there's no, what? No, what? And then as the credits roll, and this bitch got the nerve to send me a B video talking about, yeah, well, you know, I gotta go, move on. I was like, for why? And why do you have to leave me to do it? This makes no sense. I don't. Wait,
She's just a bitch.
I was like, this is. I know what I did for you. I started a whole new game. Like, it's such a wild ass contrast.
Even more. There just weren't enough stuff with the games. I wanted more side quests that were just about fleshing out the game.
That and with your
not street hustles that did it, but quests.
But like your actual class barely mattered. Like you got some different dialogue changes here and there, and it made certain situations slightly different. But in the grand scheme of it all, it wasn't there. Like I said, I'm sure if they had if they would have actually fully baked this, then you would have actually started in one of those starting borough hotels for whichever archetype you started as. But instead you start in the same generic place and pop by it with Papa being your main fixer for no matter what you were, corporate one or person or whatever. He's like, no, it would make more sense for you to actually start out here with these people and be in their boroughs and then go from there, because that'll add replayability for those classes when that for you to actually start over. And then like you said, there were very few instances, like you said, with the one woman. There's the one woman that's a corpo that you can end up hooking up with if you're I guess you have to be a corpo agent because you have to know how she works or whatever. But yeah, once you do that, I felt
it's different. The first mission is actually a prime example of how people, I think, wanted the entire game to be. So in that first mission, if you're a street kid, you get to literally just walk through the front door. You know the language, you know how to talk to them, you know how to get through. The problem comes when it comes down to the chip. From there, it expands just a little bit more. If you're intellectually based and you know how to hack stuff, you can actually hack into the chip and you already know what it is. And if you're a street kid, you get a specific option in which you get to haggle said information and get something out of it, right?
Yep.
You have different reactions you can do from there. Then there's the fact that there's actually the original gang leader is in prison in there at that point in time, and you get to stumble upon him and have more interaction with that. If you're a street kid, you get to have better dialogue options as well. Then there's other options completely based on just different stats. If you're really good and have really high strength, you can go in through the side garage and come in from the back. There's a whole bunch of there's just so many different options. That first mission opens up multiple options just to how you can physically get through it and verbally.
And that's what they said, but that's what they said in the initial release
so
of
the rest of it.
And then that was it though. And it was only for that one mission that they were always talking about. But from then on,
that problem I would actually say I agree with you 100%. The problem was every aspect of that mission where all that stuff was in one whole place, it was just spaced out throughout the rest of the city. It is every once in a while you would do one of these things at a certain point in time. I almost 100% of the game. I tried to go through every side quest and do every single thing.
I literally had
because I think were you a street kid or?
On my final playthrough, I think on my original playthrough I was a street kid, and then on my final playthrough I was a corpo.
Okay, so you finished on your first playthrough with the street kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you already know if you did all the side quests and stuff, you get a multitude of options for any and everything that's a street level mission. Your responses, you always get one, and it doesn't normally change the outcome or anything like that. Actually, it rarely ever changes the outcome or anything. But sometimes they allow for you to navigate a mission the way that the mission wants you to navigate it. So there'll be missions where they don't want you to get into a gunfight or anything like that.
Right.
If you're a corpo, those missions are almost the easiest ones to do because you almost always get a bribe option. You almost always get a intrigue option, something where you know someone who knows someone and you can right?
Facts.
But when you're a street kid, you don't always end up having a fight, and certain people they just won't let you through. There's no way you can haggle your unless you have strength or a really crazy hacking stat where you get to hack something like a computer to unlock a door, or you have that those gorilla arms or a strength stat where you get to pull up something, a door somewhere.
Yep.
You're almost always stuck as a. You get cool dialogue options, but not very much world interaction.
Yeah, you got
It's
like
opposite
witty
as a
comebacks,
corpo.
but like, but
Yeah. As a corpo, you get more world interactions and less of the opposite. Like it's like the opposite with the corpo. And
yeah,
the,
like you have less of a reputation with
and
people.
then as
People
a
don't really
one,
fuck with you, but you can, like you said, like kind of finesse your way around the systems and whatnot.
Yep. And like deeper conversation, you can say you know somebody, you can present yourself as a corpo because you literally were one. But I will say I really did enjoy the actual difference between their intro scene. I like that the corpo started off as a corpo.
Yeah.
Like you got to walk around the corporate
But
office,
that's what
see
I
how
wanted
those things
more
work
of,
on day to day.
in the sense of like,
I know
that's why I
a
felt
lot
like
of people wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
You should have had at least like 10 hours of gameplay in that mode.
Yep.
In that area
like
where
the
you're
fact
your
that
highest.
barely comes back, like I think you do get like a side mission where like the guy who like framed you does like come back slightly, but it's like a side mission that's just like, and like it really doesn't really do much. Like I think you like it's like a package delivery, some shit, whatever. But like and like you get like some like emails that you can find somewhere or whatnot. But outside of that, like that's really all you get from like your previous life, whatever. But outside of that, like like I said, like that's between those relationships between like your actual background and then like the actual relationships that you choose with the people don't really change all for the different that much to me.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like it was the way that they went about it was very akin to like what we see in some indie games and Dark Souls. In this game in specific, and Bethesda titles. In this game in specific, you had to go through those emails of almost every side gig you did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but if you did, all those side gigs were connected at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like you would do them all, you would unlock one mission at the end, and that one mission would actually almost always incorporate every single bit of a piece of every other side gig you did in that area. And it was like that for every single area except one. So I was like, okay, cool. This actually makes these scenes just that little bit more important. And then when you dive into like all those cyberpsychosis scenes, it's almost the same thing. They're all connected a little bit. There's something going on behind every single.
Like that's the
and
Regina's
like,
going through like that whole thing, and like and depending on how you go about doing those missions, you even find out more about that in the general. So that's what I did enjoy. Like I said, like the side gigs are like where it really like shines the most. And like you even get to like.
But they should have felt more like side quests. They felt too much like a public event in Destiny. I feel like there should have felt more like side quests. There should have been more dialogue options with my origin. There should have been more interaction at play with these missions. They should have felt more like those assassination missions in old Assassin's Creeds where you really have to go in the building and sneak around and find your way through. Instead, like some of those missions were in like a club that had a singular corridor and like 4 rooms, or like a little small garage. Open up the door, shoot some people, and then take a email tip or something and leave. It was like they just felt so small, and even some of the ones that like someone had to call me to get me to do. Some of those gigs were supposed to be like the really cool ones. They didn't feel very well manufactured. Like I didn't have to use my entire skill set.
Oh yeah, no, like once you get to your strength or hacking up to a certain level, like you could essentially just walk into most places with ease. It's really like, bro. Once I unlocked the double jump with the legs, nigga. Oh, it was over. It was game over. I was everywhere.
Yep.
I was everywhere. I was like, oh, it don't matter.
Jumping through windows that were open. Like, oh, you guys don't want me. I went reflexes and hacking. So you know how the reflexes slows down time?
Yep.
It doesn't slow down your hacking time. So I could just walk in. When something spot me, it would slow down my camera. I would turn to find out where it was, start hacking it, turn it off. Walk past. If a person's there, burn them out. Walk past. If another person's there, EMP. I burn out some cooldown. Like, I just keep going. And it's like, as long as they don't, I'm still doing this without getting caught. And it's it was just so dumb. Like, and the EMP one didn't kill anybody. It would just knock them out. So if I was supposed to not kill people, I would just EMP, refresh, wait,
Or no,
move on.
I'm pulling out
hack,
I'm
EMP.
pulling out my dildo and I'm smacking niggas with this dick. What you mean? That's it. I'm dead.
And those were the aspects of the game. I thought there should have been more of the cool, goofy items.
Yeah.
Transmog should have been a thing from day one. I'm happy it's a thing now, but it should have been a thing from day one. When they had this new update, by the way, I am going back to the game and doing.
Oh yeah, because they did do a whole overhaul, so like you have to reset your.
It's not out yet. It's not out yet.
Well, no, they did another different.
The original one. Yeah, you're right about that one. I remember that. It just sucks because they did that one, and now they're about to do a new update.
Yep. And but I'm with it because you got DLC coming out and everything. So I'm with it. I mean, hey, if it's changing the game,
I'm start a new one finally.
Well, look, after my last one,
my corpo start,
because that's what I did, corpo, and then I finally did the secret ending on that as well. Not even secret ending, but like the secret final mission with like where you just storm Arasaka with Johnny and nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That mission was hell because it puts all the enemies at max level. So like I went in there at like
I remember.
Yeah, it was I literally walked through the door and was melted, and then you had to do that whole sequence of the fucking him waking up in the fucking fixer lab and walking up with Misty and all that. I literally had to like lower the level and then like. And then still, like, I couldn't make it through the door, barely make it. I made it, like, by lowering the level, I was able to make it through the doorway for, like, 3 seconds, enough to, like, go into my inventory, heal, and then, like, I was able to, like, slowly wipe out all the humans and whatnot, and then, you know, they dropped the 2 mechs in the lobby room. Bro, I was just poking at them niggas for the longest, and then finally I get them down to half health, and they just stopped taking damage. And I'm just like...
Yep, I remember. That shit was wild. That's why I just straight went hacking, man. That shit made most of those missions. Like, when I got to that one, the reason why, I literally, because I went hacking and reflexes, I literally could not get touched. One bullet in every single fight killed me. So I just wasn't allowed to get touched at all.
That's what was happening to me. Every bullet was killing me. So I was just like, I had to go back out, and I literally did everything.
I've been through the whole game.
Oh no! Before
that,
the
entire game.
No, not before that. I was like, I could take some hits, like you know, but I was always like slow down time and heal up, Simpsons, and then, but yeah, no, it wasn't until that final mission where I was really like getting my shit rocked. I was like, hey yo, and so I had to go back out
my world
and finish I had to go back and literally I just went back and finished every side mission. I did every gig. I did obviously all the side jobs and whatnot, but I mean like all like the little side jobs that you could find until the map was empty. And I was like, all right, well here we go.
That's how you get your street rank up.
Yep. But I mean I had originally played before street rank mattered really, so reputation and all that wasn't shit. But no, street rank was up.
Yeah, that's why I'm like excited to do the corpo one. When I restart for like the new game plus, that's why I'm happy to do the corpo one, because then I don't have to worry about like the street cred thing, like which is the main like negative when you're a corpo. Like I think when you start off as a street kid, your street rep is at like 30% already. Is at the max of what you can get it from like basically leveling up. So you don't have to worry about like the beginning phase. But as a corpo, you got to go through the whole level up process, but you got to do the side missions first to get it, because you know you're not going to level up past it to the cap yet. There's like you have to do the side missions to get it up to the rest of the percentage, and then your levels will cap it off at the end. So it's like, god dang, man, this stuff sucks. But I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do a corpo and see how that's going to go in this new thing, especially with the way the new DLC has been outlined to be and taking place. Sounds like it'll be interesting to talk to people as a corpo.
Yeah, the new DLC was gonna be, what's it called? What's the DLC?
Oh, the new area?
What was the
Phantom Pain. Yeah, Phantom Liberty. I said Phantom Pain.
I was like, I know it's Liberty something. So no, I definitely.
Yeah, it's just I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fun. I do have to get into the Armor Core before that comes out though. So, and then Baldur's Gate as well. There's just too many games in one space.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely.
Like Armor Core is I think some more soon.
I haven't seen so much shit on that now since you've talked about it, and I'm just like, fuck, okay, well, That's probably gonna be my next buy on as far as like.
I tried to warn you, bro. I think I even said in episode 1 it's gonna change gaming.
Yeah, you did. You called it. You called it. But knowing it's from the creators of like Divinity and all that, I'm not surprised at this point because like because just looking at the everything that's in Divinity in itself, I'm like, this is too much. So like it's like everybody that you could like there were things in that game that I feel like I didn't even see to the full end just because like there's just so many levels to it. Like I know there's like a portion where I know there was one point where like you're in the city and you can like talk to some girl and like if you can like chat her up to the point where like she wants to meet once y'all get off the island. When I'm like I don't even know if that even leads to anything in this point, but I was just like it's the fact that like you can run back into some of these people later and like just such little things too. Like I remember I was playing with Gabe and Amante and like I had the perk that allowed me to talk to animals, so I talked to the cat, and the cat started following me, and then like it just kept following me and never saying anything, and then we finally make it out of the island, and now you find out this nigga can talk, and now I can summon him on the regular. I'm like, hey yo, what is that? Wait.
Turn into a familiar.
Yes, I was like, this shit is amazing. Like little shit like that you would even think had any implications. I mean, you would think like, okay, this nigga's following me for some reason, something's got to happen. But at the same time,
remember that part? When you go into the Fort Joy's like dungeon and there's like that room full of the dogs.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to talk to animals, that dog that's on the outside of the beach where the elves are hiding in the cave, that dog is just like ball. He just has a whole story involving the dogs that's in the dungeon.
Yeah,
like he's just.
No, I did that.
You go
in
there, and you can just pacify that whole thing.
Crazy part about that, you can miss that if you already have the cat because the dog is too distracted by the cat. So I was like, what? Mm. So we were playing through, and like somehow the cat got onto another one of my teammates, so I went and talked to the dog and got that quest for the bow and all that. So I was like, oh bro, there's a whole way to completely circumvent like you can get your fucking collar taken off and everything different ways depending on like how you go about it, or you don't get it taken off until like that actual time in the story. So like I had chatted up the old girl in our game at the thing, and she took my collar off for me, and so like I was collar free while everybody else still had their collars on, and they couldn't get the same dialogue. They didn't do the same dialogue offers as me with her. So they
would have to do the tournament.
Yep.
Which is even crazier because we all started doing the tournament, thought we could all do it, like because we were on teams, thought we could all do it, and then once we killed the other team, we had to eliminate each other.
So yeah, so bad. It's so crazy.
It's crazy because James was a tank, so we lost.
Damn.
He just tanked through everybody. I was like and I had started dual classing like really early. Mm-hmm. So I was an assassin and he was a summoner tank. So he literally just kept summoning his own defensive spells while we were trying to attack him because we knew we couldn't kill.
I was a summoner too. I love the summoner class. Oh my god, and how the classes level up. Oh, so good. And then the fact that there are like actual main characters that you can even play as that have their own whole storylines and everything that you can follow. Oh my god, Sabil's storyline.
The fact that Baldur's Gate 3 is all that, but Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh my god, I can't. It's gonna be too good.
My problem is, like, when the game comes out, I want to play, but...
Your what?
I said, my problem is, when the game comes out, I just... Day one, but I don't know what class I want to play yet, still.
Yeah, I already know. If I see any type of magic, I'm on it. So.
There's 2 magic classes, though. I think there's 3. There's... The monk has a sorcerer class, and there's an assassin, which... technically has an assassin sorcerer class. I think it's called Arcane Trickster. There's a cleric, which, there's a cleric. They have both support spells and offensive spells. And there's the warlock. They have spells. And then there's a sorcerer who also has spells. They're just different the way that they learn spells. I think the sorcerer spells are innate to their body, so they learn their spells technically like as they level up, while as a Warlock is someone who has to like attune spells. He
Yeah, it's
would be
like
like the
D&D
person
rules.
that needs like scrolls. Yeah, D&D rules.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know D&D rules. I don't need to
Yeah.
explain this to you.
Yes.
Shit. Alright, I'm out of here. The fact that they have multi-classing in the game is also fucking lit.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to, I can be a spell sword. If I want to just be a paladin, I can be a paladin. I'm gonna run paladin because I like so fight, and a paladin pretty much runs all their spells off their charisma score, which means I can do dialogue options. So it's cool and all, but it just kind of makes me a little bit sad. Like I wish they had launched with like as many crazy classes Pathfinder had. Like Pathfinder, and the amount of classes.
I mean, but there's so much choice. There's too much choice.
I love that though. It just makes me want to play the game so many more times. Like I have 7 playthroughs in Pathfinder. I haven't even beaten the game yet. I get to a certain point and I'm like, dude, I wonder what this would be like if I did this class. And then I restart the game as that class.
That's why I'm definitely one of the believers in spam saving, because like I do wanted to see just to test out different pathways, and I don't feel like going back around to play on this playthrough because there's so much other different stuff I can do. So I'm like, I got to figure out what's going on here now. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
What does this do? Okay.
Like
so
before I started playing the Pathfinder game, like this is what I was doing when I first started playing it, which is what I do with other games. I save, and because they have a respec option, before I made that choice that I wanted to see the opposite reaction of, I would respec, change up my character, and then go and do that choice, right? The problem with Pathfinder is when you do that, there's now a multitude of choices leading up to this point that you didn't get to see. But that class would have been able to see them. So it just makes me want to restart the entire game just to see what other choices that class would have gotten to make throughout the game leading up to this point. And then I'll make that choice. But it's so, especially in Pathfinder, like if you're doing a good thing, the choices you get to make versus bad thing, because you got to keep people I didn't even know I could keep. And then versus if you're doing like a chaotic build or a neutral build, it's just so much stuff.
I mean, that's
religious or not.
Was it the Divinity was as well, and that's why I kept like everybody in my party like had like different stuff leveled up more, so that way, no matter what the choice was coming up, it's like, hey yo, I need you to talk to them real quick, handle this dialogue option, so we can see what's going on. Like I don't like my
Pathfinder. I would just say that. See, that was I was gonna say Pathfinder is the problem with Pathfinder. They give you a multitude of options to a point where for some people it's too many options and no vocal dialogue for most of those options.
Yeah, see that's
while as like Divinity, almost all voice acted.
Crazy.
You barely have to read. Every choice you make is voice good. It's just like, man, if Pathfinder could find a way to finance a fully voice acted game, that shit would have been amazing. It would have Pathfinder was my game of the year last, but it would already be my game of the year this year. Like, dude, Pathfinder with vocals, like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Now I can actually like listen to it like a talk to me game master.
It's about to be me and Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. The fact that they have co-op too, like when we play it, I want to play together with. So we're gonna. I think he's gonna do sorcerer, and I'm gonna with it. So it should be fine. It would just be on build whatever companion we decide to kill with. But like, man, that's just fun. I want to win. But I haven't decided if we're gonna do it. So we're good here. You feeling accomplished?
I believe so.
You caught up to everything you got?
Yeah, I believe that was all I had at the moment. We covered all of our topics currently.
We're gonna head on up out of here. If you guys want to catch us next time on the Geeked Out Podcast, you know where we'll be. Right here on all your favorite platforms. We got this on YouTube, Spotify. Yeah, you know where to find us.
Tidal, all of it. Wherever your podcasts available, you can find us. Until next time.
Hey, we playing this Naraka though, right?